Hello everyone, my name is Raymond and welcome to a Project Feline livestream. Hope you guys could all hear me okay. It's been a while since I've done one of these sorts of streams. So if there's any issues at the moment, let me know ASAP and then we can get on with things. So how's everyone doing? I've got two monitors now, so I can actually look at the chat window and work at the same time. So just drop a hello in the chat if you can register me at all in any way. I've got no idea if this is coming through or not. Alright, sweet. Alright, looks like I'm coming through. Awesome. So hi, how are we all doing? It's been a while since I've done one of these, so I have some cool exciting things to show you guys. I've been doing some work with the gameplay and adding some new features that I haven't shown in a devlog yet. Only my patrons have seen this, so if you guys have managed to come join the stream, you get to see some never before seen stuff that no one else has really seen yet. So it's going to be exciting. Going to be doing some maps as well, and I have some inspiration for where I want to do with it, but I'm mostly just going to be constructing and just seeing where things go. And I don't know, maybe you guys might have some ideas about building levels and whatnot that we could try. So yeah, we're just going to work on stuff and just see how things go mainly. But first I want to show you some of the stuff going on here. So I've got my test level open that you guys might recognize from the current builds or the videos, but I've added a little something different to it, and I'm gonna pop in the level here and give it a play. Now I'm not sure, I had an issue once where the play footage wouldn't show, so hopefully this is working fine. So if I look over here, you can see there's these little patrolling dudes just hanging out, and I might walk over to them and just see how they're doing, and you can see they start chasing me if I get close and they zap me. So I've been working on some enemy behaviors and AI sort of thing. So as you can see, if I get close to all of them, they'll all start chasing me around. And you could probably hear there's some projectiles as well, and that's coming from this boy over here, this turret. And if I get close to him, you can start shooting at me. And if I get hit even once, it's gonna respawn me back to the beginning. So you have to be very careful with that. But there are ways to kill it. I think if I do a wall ride near it, it'll yeah. So if I wall ride, I can get around it. And then if I use the slide mechanic, I can slide into him and kill him. So yeah, and I've added a little pose for the slide on the new model now. It's very static, work in progress, but it feels a lot cooler than just the run animations, so that's what we're going to be using. But I can slide into these guys as well. If I time it right, I have to slide into them before they hit me, so that's sort of a bit of a challenge there. But yeah, so that's been the last 2 weeks of me learning the enemy AI and all that, and that's been kind of tricky. It's yeah, AI, that's like a whole new thing. But yeah, so what I'd like to do for this stream is I want to use some of the AI I've made here in this level, and I want to put it into a level and make a fun little challenge out of it somehow. So that's where, I guess that's what we're going to be doing. So yeah, so I'm going to get a new map over. I'm going to start completely from scratch. And this is just like, I haven't even started working on this yet. This is just going to be like blank canvas. Let's just see where this goes. I'm gonna delete the default floor, and I'm gonna use an asset pack that I used in my last video called the Super Grid pack, and it is an excellent tool set for building levels. I highly recommend it. I should probably, I don't know if I've got a link to it, but if you Google Super Grid, you'll find a link to it on the Epic Marketplace. Oh, excuse me. Gosh, yeah, it feels really weird doing a video because I'm so used to like editing them and scripting them. So yeah, it's a bit different. I'm not used to live streaming as much as I used to be, so hopefully it's gonna be fun. But yeah, so I'm just gonna place some cubes around here. So this is the cube I use a lot from the pack. It's called the Super Grid box. And the cool thing about this pack that I don't think well, there's a few things in the video I didn't get time to cover, but one of the things I'm being told constantly with these maps is that, oh, they don't match the character. And it's like, yeah, I mean, I don't think I can name a character that matches with the default grid, besides like the Unreal Mannequin or something. But yeah, they are just test levels. They're blockouts. They're not final. So I know a lot of people have been like talking about the graphics, saying, oh, the art style doesn't match. Like, I don't have an art style yet. I'm just like blocking out levels, seeing what's fun. Art style is gonna come much later on. So this is just purpose. The purpose of all this is just to block it out and to experiment mainly. It's not to look pretty or anything, but I do try my best to make it look presentable if possible. But yeah. Now, the weird thing about these boxes is that they're anchored at like this corner, so I like trying to keep things centered if possible. But yeah, so I'm gonna be, I don't know, I've got a few ideas on how I want to start this level out. I have a few screenshots that I'm gonna bring up. I was watching a few Let's Plays, and there's a few games. There's this one game, I think this guy, he played through my prototype months ago and again recently, and I found on his channel he had another game he had played that had wall writing in it, and I want to see if I can get inspired from some of those maps. And then there's this other game that everyone kept telling me about after I made my grind mechanic, and I can't remember the name of it. I think it's called it's like a Jet Set Radio kind of game, but not quite. And that had I watched some gameplay of it and it seemed interesting, and I want to try and get some inspiration from this as well. So I've just got these up on my other screen that I'm going to be looking at to reference, and yeah, just to get like some thoughts in my head on what I want to do. But yeah, I'm also going to be trying to read the chat, so if I do miss any messages, I am sorry. Like, I tend to have a bit of a weakness when it comes to trying to work and watch a chat room at the same time, but I'll do my best. But yeah, just to answer a few quick questions I'm seeing, could I lock the FPS for the enemies in terms of like the stylized FPS limited animation style of the character? And that is something I do intend to do when I create the models and everything for it. You know what, actually I might start a circular level here. I'm gonna be fancy. I want to do a big round area. But yeah, so for all the characters and dynamic objects in the game, I want to aim for that limited animation cel-shaded style. But as for static objects, I want to go for more of a hand-painted, crafted look. And the reason for that is because in anime, a lot of the time, they don't actually cel-shade the entire frame or the entire cell. They only cel-shade things that need to be updated every frame. But things like environments, you'll find have been painted on, and they usually spend hours at a time doing those backgrounds. So I'd like to get the same aesthetic going for my own game here. Why am I not spawning? I think I need to move this down. I want to try and get this in line with that grid that's there, just so it's on the floor. There we go. All right. So I don't know how big I should make this. I might make it a bit, maybe 20. Yeah, that'll work. Sweet. Now the cool thing about this asset pack that you might have noticed is that this grid texture on it tiles, which is amazing. It's really good for scale. It gives you a good sense of like how big things are. So each one of these little blocks is about a meter, and if I put a wall here, there's 1 meter of a cube right there, and you can see that Gabby is like roughly 1.5 meters tall. So she's quite short actually. But what you'll also realize is that the default Unreal mannequin is actually massive. Like he's like almost Master Chief height. Pretty nuts. So if you ever want to build something to scale, always make sure that, keep in mind that the UE4 default mannequin is actually like an absolute unit. He is pretty tall. But anyway, let's get some more action going here. Let's get a corridor going. I feel like I want to start this off in a spherical area to give you some free movement, and then I want to try chucking some kind of challenge at the player. So let's make some walls. And that's the cool thing too, is that because Unreal has these snapping tools in its transforms, it becomes really easy to scale these walls, which has a texture that's also to scale and snaps. So I can, like, that's 4 meters exactly. And just working with those exact values instead of like eyeballing it to like roughly the height you want, I mean, that always makes me super anxious. So I'm glad that I have a very good idea of scale when I'm doing stuff with the Super Grid pack. Now you might see me do some weird things here, like this for example, where I'm rotating this wall, and that's because pivot points, I like to keep track of where my pivot points are, and you can probably see that this is all the way back here, but my priority when it comes to building walls is to have the pivot point closest to where the inside is rather than the outside, because if I have it turned around the other way, see the pivot point, like if I'm on this side of the wall, the pivot point of the wall is now on the outside, and I don't necessarily like having it that way, because then if I need to make the wall smaller, I can just move it directly from that pivot and see how, just from where the floor is likely to end. And speaking of which, I should make a floor. I might reset yeah, it's a bit tricky working with the rotations and scales, I find, because I haven't done that much level design in the past, but I try to do my best to be aware of where my pivots are and everything. And you'll probably see in a few cases here, you're gonna have some Z fighting going on. I'm not gonna worry too much about it for the moment, but I'm gonna try my best to avoid it, because I know that if I leave it in, I show it in a video, and the first thing everyone's gonna say is like, "Oh, this is Z fighting, it's glitching," or something. But yeah, so I want to try and avoid it, but I don't think it's that big a deal. Alright, so we got some corridor action going. Oh, excuse me. So we got some corridor action going. I don't know, what do I feel like doing? I'm gonna look at my reference images. I might add some stairs. I think that would be fun. Or, you know what? Well, yeah, because here's what I'm trying to do at certain points. I want to try and... like you drop in around here, right? And I want to give you something to look at that you want to move towards, and some kind of obstacle. So, let me think. What could I add? I mean, some basic things. In the last map, I added barrels to dodge, but I don't want to reuse that trick over and over. But yeah, I don't know. What about some of these? I've never used this shape before. But I'm going to plant some of these in and just see what this feels like to play through. So I'm just going to chuck a few of these in. So there we go. I don't know. I guess that's it's a little thing to try and dodge through. But it is a bit easy. Maybe if I put these a bit closer together. Yeah, that's just a bit annoying. You can probably just go around them. Maybe, maybe, actually, you know what I will do? Because I need to transition this a bit better. I might use one of these ramps, and I'm going to go down, because I think having variety in its elevation can make some interesting... It makes like a focal point, I guess. That's the main thing I want to try doing, is adding some kind of focal point. It's weird. I don't know. I'm not going to sit here and say exactly what the right way to make a level is, but just from what I've been building so far, I think building levels is a lot... In a way, it's also like building a photograph or a wallpaper or a design, where you have to, you have to make it fun to play through, but you also need to, for people to be able to navigate it, you need to compose it in a way. Like, you need to frame certain objects in certain directions with certain rules. And it's sort of a whole... I've been doing a lot of research on that lately with how Uncharted does it, and it's really interesting. But yeah. Oh, thanks, Cap Cannon, for the $1 donation. Thank you so much. But yeah, so I just want to get this ramp at the right width here. It's, yeah... Working in 3D space where there's all this infinite nothing, it makes it easy to lose track of where your objects are. But, yeah, so I don't know what you guys think about what I was saying just then about composing and whatnot, but I mean, I'm sure there's lots of ways to design levels. But one thing I want to try and strive for is making them, like, enjoyable. I guess, well, yeah, of course, enjoyable to play through, but also, like, a cool thing I've noticed is that it's been very rare that I've had, like, when I made my very first games when I was, like, still a student in high school, I had a lot of cases where people would get stuck, like, really easily, and they wouldn't know, like, what to do. You know that common... It's like the nightmare phrase of any game. It's like, what am I meant to be doing here? If you ever hear that, like, every time I hear that, my heart just, like, destroys itself, because it's just like, oh no, I've not done my job as a designer. But I have yet to actually hear people say that about Project Feline so far, at least as far as I've seen from all the speedrunning and people doing Let's Plays of it. I haven't seen anyone yet really get stuck, so that's good. But it could also mean that my levels aren't challenging enough as well, so I don't really know what to make of that. But I do know that it's at least good that no one's looking at this going, how do I move, or what way am I meant to go in? So I think that's a positive. But yeah, I've just made some walls here that I can wall right through, and I'm gonna turn off motion blur. Oh, it's off already. Okay, yeah, motion blur. Oh man, I think I had it in, but then when I added the new model with the limited animations, it just looked horrid. So I think I might just take that option out of the game, just outright, because it's just not working with the art style that I think I might go in. So yeah, all right. So I don't know. I gotta add something here. So here's what I'd like to do. You know what? I'll just do it. I'm gonna try and talk a bit less, and I'm just gonna do something, and we'll see how that goes. But yeah, I guess while I do this, yeah, so the whole quarantine thing, yay. I'm in Australia, we haven't really been in lockdown, but yeah, people, you know, toilet paper's been flying off the shelf, supplies have been scarce, everyone's calling for it to be in lockdown. For me, it doesn't make much of a difference, I'm just kind of always in my room anyway, but yeah, hope that's not doing too badly for everybody in these dark times. So I don't know, while that's going on, I thought I might, you know, do something cool, I guess, like entertain a few people. So I'm thinking, okay, so here's like my thought process for this little bit. I think there might be a cool thing here where we can have a higher route and a lower route, and players who aren't attentive, they might miss this higher one, but they can still go through the lower area, challenge their skill a bit, but those who are like paying attention can get rewarded by going up this top bit somehow. So I'm gonna duplicate this floor. I'm gonna go up here somewhere. Why is it always toilet paper? Yeah, I don't know. I saw this picture of I think it was on Reddit somewhere, and it was like a picture of the dinosaurs, and they see the meteorite in the sky, and they say, oh no, get the toilet paper. I mean, I guess if I had to be home for a month or 6 months, toilet paper would be the one thing I wouldn't run around out of, but I think equally food is also, I think, pretty important, but I don't see food as frequently going off the... I don't know, maybe that's because more people tend to buy food rather than toilet paper, so it's stocked more frequently, and we don't see that going off the shelves. I don't know, that could be why, but yeah, I don't know. I don't really pay attention to it all. I just like every time I usually just go to Coles to get like my Coke Zero quota, and that's when I tend to notice these things mainly. But yeah, okay, so there's some more shapes I could use. I want to close off this area. I'm gonna use one of these arch shapes, and if I scale that up, I can make a wall out of it that's like circular, which is what I want. Except I need to get a different one for this up a bit here. But let me move that to the center, and if I scale that big enough, it's gonna, okay, that's pretty thick. I didn't think it'd be that thick. Might have to do something about that. And this floor is not at it's a 0 point. Okay, I could make that a little bigger. Oh, there might be another shape I can use. Yeah, this might be what I want. This has a bit less geometry. Maybe that's... But the pivot point's all weird. You know, I'll just use the other one. For now, yeah, we'll keep using that. The ceiling is making the subway vibe stronger for me. Awesome. Glad to hear. Yeah, that's a weird thing that often comes to mind when I'm making these levels. Is that I try to have an idea in my head of what it is, but I'm not sure if that's what I should be doing, right? Like, what you'd want to do, I think, when designing levels, in the way that Respawn did, because I think I talked about this in my last devlog about how Respawn, and for those who don't know Respawn, I mean, you probably should know Respawn, but they made Apex Legends, and before that they made Titanfall, and a lot of them were from like they're old employees of like Infinity Ward and all that. But they often keep things very abstract with their level design, with their action block process. And I found that very interesting, but I also found it kind of hard to follow at the same time. Mainly because creatively I can jam when it comes to like making characters, but when it comes to doing environments I tend to struggle, just because I don't know, I don't tend to pay a lot of attention to my own environment to really have a strong point of reference, I suppose. Like when I'm outside, I mean, I pay attention to a few like details. Like I was out in the city a few months back, and I was consciously trying to pay attention to buildings and architecture and whatnot. But I tend to, I don't know, I'm just more of a characters guy mainly. Like when I'm playing games, which is, I mean, I do that a lot more often than I do go outside, but when I am playing games, I'm often focused on things like the animation and the polish of like certain sounds and certain animations and effects. It's very rare that I'm actually paying attention to the level, and I think that's why I struggle sometimes when it comes to building maps compared to other people, for example. But yeah. Alright, so I might make this wider just so that it... Unless I can fit another one of these wedges in. Yeah, no, okay. I wonder if... Maybe if I do this, I don't know if that'll work. Not quite. So, yeah, I might make this a bit wider. Might be able to fit more in this as well. But yeah, on that topic though, in my head, I think I'm trying to make like a subway or a laboratory, because I always have to. I don't know. I don't know if I want to actually. If I ever had to, if I was at that GDC talk where they talked about it, I probably would have asked them, "Hey guys, how do you come up with these like abstract blocks without having this compulsion to try and make sense of what you're making as you make it?" Because every time I like this, for example, when I'm positioning this hallway, like to me I have to categorize it. It's like, okay, it's got to be a hallway, or it has to be a stairwell, or it has to be a corridor, or it has to be like an oval, or or an office. But I don't think that's the approach they would have taken. Like they probably just would have put stuff together and said, okay, is this fun to play through, and then we'll figure out what it is later, sort of thing. And that's sort of more of the direction I want to try taking things in, but it's tricky. Because, I mean, at the end of the day, you're just working with blocks, and you kind of have to use your imagination a lot, but yeah, I don't know. It's just sort of a struggle, I guess, that I tend to come across. All right, so I'm gonna try and reposition. I'm just gonna reposition the floor and then do the roof later. And I might just silent my phone as well. I don't know if that's gonna go off or anything. But yeah, so I'm just gonna read the chat for a bit, see what you guys think of all that rambling. Yeah, Respawn, they use a highly modified version of Source, I believe. But they also use Unreal Engine for some other titles. Like, for those... Actually, yeah, that's a game I missed out. I knew they worked on something else. Yeah, they made that Star Wars game, that Jedi Fallen Order. They worked on that using Unreal Engine. Which I found interesting, because, like, I thought they would have just kept using their Source engine infrastructure, but I found it fascinating that they went to Unreal. It's funny, I've been seeing a lot of Unreal related Star Wars things lately. Oh, excuse me. Because I recently watched through The Mandalorian and I thought it was pretty good, but as a matter of fact, when it came to the production, they didn't use a green screen. They used this new technique, or a less common technique, of having a massive, like, 360 degree, like, LED display, and they used Unreal Engine to render the backgrounds and the ships. And they also used Unreal Engine in Rogue One to render that robot, that sarcastic robot guy, I forgot his name. Yeah, and they rendered him all in real time using Unreal. So I don't know, I think the fact that it had something to do with Star Wars might have been why they used Unreal when Respawn were put on the game. So I don't know, that's just sort of what I think. But I reckon they like did pretty cool job with it. Like, they still have a lot of their signature movement mechanics, like sliding and wall running and all that. So I thought it was really cool. Like, it felt like a third-person Titanfall in some areas, just with a lot more combat and whatnot. But yeah, it's pretty cool. Is there a way to make the movement more natural? Yeah, that's probably something I've been getting asked this a lot, and I'm probably gonna get asked this a lot as we continue. I'm gonna be spending some effort in the future on making the wall run that I've made feel a bit more natural. A lot of people, because I recently kind of nerfed the character a bit. I made it so she, her base movement speed is actually the same. It's still at 25 kilometers an hour. And it's funny enough, a lot of games actually have it set at the speed, like Titanfall has it at about 25 or 26, and Mirror's Edge has it at 25. But I did slow down the wall run speed. Well, I removed the combo, I made the speed a little faster, but it doesn't multiply anymore. And I remember in my head, I thought, okay, this would make level designing a bit easier to do. But a lot of people who played it felt it kind of took away some empowerment in a way. Like, they didn't feel they had as much freedom as they used to have with the combo system. Because I remember watching someone play it and they were like, oh yeah, I really miss building up speed, or something like that along those lines. And it made me want to reconsider putting that mechanic in, but I felt like it needed to be put in a better way, in a more, like, there's a better way to do it. I know that there is. And I'm probably going to explore that further when I make more progress on the prototype. But yeah, it's kind of like, it's mid-priority at the moment. I wouldn't say it's particularly urgent. There are some other aspects that are a bit more urgent at the moment. And that's mainly, of course, the level design and a few other things that I haven't announced yet. But when that's all sort of over and settled, that's what I'm, like, once I have the basic idea set of, like, what this even is, that's when I'm gonna really, I want to try and spend as much time as I can really refining it, because I don't know, it's weird. I honestly didn't really expect I'd spend this long figuring that out and whatnot. I was very hell-bent when I started the project on putting it out as quickly as I could and just making something that looked fancy. However, as I worked on it, I kind of couldn't bring myself to just call it, like, to abandon it, I guess. I was sort of like, no, I have to really sit down and figure out this gameplay, and here we are now. But Yeah, I think it's I don't know. There's a lot I could talk about in terms of things I've just thought about as I've been working on things. I'm just a bit frustrated about this ramp. I've been fiddling around with this a bit. This corridor isn't the right size. Because I'm trying to line this up perfectly with like these two with these two walls, and it's kind of tricky because they're both on angles. Actually, what I might do, I'm gonna try moving these over here instead, and I'm just gonna see how that is. Unless, no, I couldn't do that. I was thinking I could like somehow make a smaller gap, but that's not. I already tried doing that. Anyway, so I'm just gonna while I hold that train of thought, I'm just gonna move these walls around. And I don't know, no idea how I'm gonna close this gap. I might put like a floor underneath this or something, or maybe I could just jump down. I guess that could also work. Yeah, that could be fun. Like, I don't know if I don't want to start up there. Maybe I should scale this upwards and make I don't know. I'm just gonna see where this goes. Explore this idea. I might make it 3 meters just so that we can jump onto it again. And this floor can catch you underneath. Might make it a bit more interesting than having a ramp, but we'll see. Alright. And it kind of opens up. I think I'm liking... Actually, hey, you know what we could do instead? Instead of up and down, we could do left or right. That could be something. And... well, yeah, I want to try and follow a similar design philosophy as to Sonic the Hedgehog or Sonic Hedgehog 2, where up tends to equal faster sort of thing. So I might try and make one of these routes more elevated to sort of indicate to players that pay attention that, okay, this route, like let's say the left route, for example, if I have that going up and the other one sort of going down, players that have learned this pattern of up equals the fast route might catch to that and know which one to take. So that could be, I don't know, we'll experiment. We'll see how that goes. But I need to move these walls down. I think this is all, yeah, that's all lined up. Alright. Still these little gaps. This is gonna annoy me so much, having these little bits. I haven't tried using this many different shapes before, so this is okay, why is the gap only on one side? That's weird. Maybe if I reset, I might make this 20 meters. Yeah, okay, that might fix it. So what I make, yeah, that's not centered. I gotta make sure that's centered. Awesome. And then I don't know if I can move these out. Or those, okay, those are where they should be. Maybe if I move that across just a little. No, that's gonna have a gap. Damn it. Well, I mean, actually, because of this other thing, this one's slightly too small, so I might move that. Alright. See, I'm trying my best to keep things aligned to the grid, and it might look monotonous, but there's an important reason. It makes it a lot easier to make scale changes and whatnot later down the road. So if I do spend a bit of time on, you know, scaling things perfectly, yeah, forgive me if it looks boring, but it's just future-proofing the level. And this floor is still not centered, and I swear to God, I just... okay, that needs to be there. There we go. I don't know why this is still clipping, but whatever. That's fine. Okay, so let's make another area. So this is sort of going to sprawl out now into this new... Actually, hey, you know, this area actually also might be really great. Like, some kind of open area like this could be also a good place to introduce those enemies that we had. Like, maybe on the lower route I put some of those drones in. And then on the upper route we might have some turrets maybe. So yeah, I don't know, let's experiment. So what am I gonna add in first? I feel like might just align this area first. I feel like, well, yeah, let's do the lower run. I don't know, that tends to be a bit easier sometimes, because then you could figure out a shortcut and make that like the higher one later. So let's do, I'm gonna say, I don't know, left, because people go from left to right first, and players that haven't caught on to the up equals faster, they're gonna probably most likely look to the left first, just because humans read from left to right. So we'll make this left route, this bottom one, and we'll put those drones in. So I'm gonna wall this off, and we might make this area a bit bigger than the other one. So we'll divide this in half, perhaps. And I want to try and hide the other one a little bit, just so that there's a focal point. Because if you don't have a focal point, well, there's a few things to consider. Because when you start the level off here, and this is what I was talking about earlier with composition, is that this is a frame, like this is an image now, and I need to compose this to draw the player's eye to a certain location. Now, this doesn't necessarily mean that you have to move in the area that I'm trying to make to the focal point, but it's sort of like for players that don't want to read the map, because I don't know what kind of people will be playing. I know that there's definitely people that are gonna know sort of the rules of how the level design is, and they'll try and find those shortcuts. But for players who aren't acute to those shortcuts, I want to make it so that they're gonna go where their eyes are drawn to, just to make it more natural. Otherwise, you end up with those scenarios where people say, "Oh, I don't know where to go. Where am I meant to be going?" And that's what I want to avoid doing. So I want to try and make this area really appealing and put some lights in and say, "Hey, look here," and see what happens. And then we can put some enemies in. And then for this other route, I'm gonna make it a bit dimmer, but players who are smart will take this next route on the side and take a shortcut. So I'm just wondering if there's a better way we can divide this. I was thinking maybe using just another one of these shapes. No, that's a bad idea. Maybe if I angle it, if I do something like this. Alright, I want to angle it like that. Alright. I don't know, we'll just see how that looks. Put a bit of a gap here, maybe. Actually, yeah, what I might do, see if I can... I did a cool thing in another one of my test maps where I made some lava area. Like, I'm thinking I might put like a death zone here, maybe. I don't know if that's a bit too early on, so I don't know, maybe not. But I think it might be a fun thing to try and jump over to get to this other area. But I mean, I don't know. Could be a fun experiment. But can I actually? Yeah, okay. I could barely make that, so maybe I don't know. Maybe not. But cool. All right. So I might make another floor. I might add some slight, just a bit of variation here too, so that you kind of get a bit like if you can wall run up this, or maybe I should move this closer. Yeah. I don't know. Let's just see if I can play through that. So if I can like wall run up here and then land on this ground. Yeah. Okay. So I might move this further back, just as like a little. I don't know. Just a challenge. Something fun. And I might make this. I might move this lower and make it tall. Maybe I can make it a bit taller. Or actually, yeah, I could. Yeah, I'm not sure if I should make this being able to be jumped up on, so you could take this lower area. Maybe I could. Or I don't know. We'll just keep going. I'll worry about that later. Yeah, I should probably read some chat messages. I'm seeing a few pings. All right, we got a cool question here from Butter. It's showing two names. I'm just gonna call him Butter because his profile picture is a piece of toast with some butter on it from the looks of it. He asks, what is the one thing you would tell people starting with Unreal Engine 4 blueprints? Oh, there's a lot of things. I don't know. I mean, most importantly, just like start. That tends to be the most important thing. I guess it depends a bit on what people are trying to use it for. I would probably say, I don't know, it really depends on what people are using them for. If people want to like get serious into blueprints, I guess the first thing I'd say would be at least learn how like object-oriented and programming principles behave, and learn how they behave, learn how Epic has used them in blueprints. I think that's very important. Mostly because it took me a while to get it figured out of how to build blueprints in a way that was still adhering to good practices of object-oriented programming. And that main thing is reusability, of course, flexibility, and reusability and flexibility mainly. I mean, it already makes it very easy, luckily, but I guess if you come from another engine, like I came from Unity, and it was really difficult for me to get my head around how blueprints treat objects, like how just the structure of everything is very different. Because in Unity, you've got prefabs and you've got scripts, but in Unreal, it's kind of nothing like that, but similar. So I don't know, it's kind of weird. But I honestly, after learning Unreal's methods, I do prefer how Unreal does it. There's still a lot I haven't even touched. Like, I've barely scratched the surface of Unreal. Like, just recently, I learned about the AI perception system, which is like a godsend. It is amazing how much it gives you out of the box. And I was prepared to have to code that from scratch like you would in Unity or something, where I'd be writing a script and writing it to detect the enemy and the player and shoot and whatnot. But when I was making those turrets I showed, actually, you know, I'll chuck some enemies in here while we're here. Might put some in here, so I'm gonna go to my enemies folder. Characters. So we've got these little drones. I'm gonna put them in. But yeah, like programming these guys was a lot easier with Unreal, mostly because Unreal's been around so long, since like the 90s. I think Unreal Engine is about as old as I am when it comes to its very first iteration. And because it's had a lot of time to mature, it gives you a lot of really helpful features that every developer is more likely to use, like networking, multiplayer, enemies, AI, a lot of things. And that, for me, that's sort of what made it really cool, was that it's like the engine was really designed for people wanting to make games, which was like, not to say that other engines aren't, but it really felt like walking through a door and like whoever was on the other side was like, yes, I see you're here to make games. Here, take some code, make whatever you want. And that it felt pretty welcoming and awesome. Now you might be noticing these little guys aren't working. I have to make a nav mesh object. So I'm gonna chuck one in. I'm gonna have to rebake this like 1,000 times. But I'll just chuck one in this little area just so that we get, I don't know, just to experiment with how these enemies work in this sort of space. So I have to stretch this out to meet the bounds of this little object. I don't know, let's hit play. Now it should work. There we go. Now they all chase me. Except they won't go outside the bounds. So that's kind of handy in a way, if you want to limit where the enemies can go. So if I do go to this bottom bit, I have to run up here or else these guys tase me. I might add a few more, just to make it more fun. Let's add like 5 or 6, just to really put some danger in. And later on, I might I had a patrolling behavior for those that were here at the beginning of the stream and saw that. So I might add that in as well later on. So I might have this he can be the leader, this little guy in the middle. He can be the boss. And then these little guys around him can be like the boys. And they can all chase me. So I can't stay still in this area. I have to get out of there. And there we go. So yeah, that's a little fun challenge, I guess. I'm wondering if, I don't know, could I make that more engaging somehow? Okay, well, what I like here is that you see this raised platform. In my brain, I'm automatically like, okay, I want to go there. And then I see down here and it's like, oh crap, there's these guys. So how can I... Alright, and if smart players can do that, players that haven't quite figured out wall running yet will probably like go down here and go, oh no. And then try and jump up to here, and then if they do, they might learn how to, I don't know. I don't know, you guys can play it later when I release the build. But yeah, I'll just answer some more chat questions because I'm seeing some more pings. When do you determine your checkpoints? Great question, actually. I've been thinking to make them more frequent, as a matter of fact. I kind of just do them when I know that there's going to be a hazard up ahead, and I want to kind of subtly hint to the player, like, hey, you got to watch out, like, this next bit. But at the same time, I haven't made them that frequent in my older levels. I'll put one in here. I'll put one in here just to give you an incentive as well. But I do want to put them in more frequently, just to have kind of like the Mirror's Edge speed trial mode. They have a lot of those little checkpoints. Like they embellish their levels with heaps of them. And I thought, maybe I should try that. Let's just see how that goes. So yeah, speaking of that, I don't know where I've put my checkpoints. They're in here somewhere. Placeables. Or maybe they're in my core folder. Core placeables. Checkpoint. There we go. So there's a checkpoint. And the cool thing about this little thing is that because of how I coded it, I've got a little construction script running on it that lets me like change the bounds. So I might make this a big checkpoint. I might make that 400 units. And I might move that here. And that's like something, it's luminous. Maybe that could guide our player. And they see that checkpoint and go, okay. So at least after, if they make it across, and if they want to die in here, then at least they aren't punished so badly. So that could be it. Alright. I'm going to answer some more questions. Is this game going to be able to play? I mean, that's the idea, yeah, eventually. At the moment, you can play a free demo prototype, linked in the description, projectfelinegame.com, and you can just download like a demo version that has basically everything that I have here except this level and the character model, but it's got all the other content, and without the enemies, of course. I haven't put those in yet. But yeah, you can test out all the movement mechanics and everything, all available for free. And yeah, so you check it out, linked down below. And if you want to support because I do make a video, for those that have never seen me before and are just like somehow found the stream, I do a lot of devlog videos. And if you want to support me there, because those do take a long time because to make those videos, I have to make the game and then make the video. But if you want to support the videos, you can head over to my Patreon, link down below. And Patrons have already seen these turrets last week. They get early exclusive looks at what I'm working on each video. So if that's something you're interested in and you want to see what I'm doing next, head on down to Patreon, linked in the description. Shout me a coffee or something. Really would appreciate that. Will we be able to attack? Indeed, yes. I'm still going to experiment. Like, if I keep these enemies in the game, I'm liking the addition so far, but again, I can't make any promises. But if these enemies are going to stay, I do want to create some better attack moves. Previously, we had a kick attack, but I did take that out because it just felt a bit... On the ground, it didn't feel fun. It just kind of felt like you were pressing a button to attack. But the air moves felt fun. I want to try and re-implement those. But I do have a slide mechanic at the moment. And I can use this to take out these enemies. So if I slide into them, I actually really like that. I want to do that again because it just felt so satisfying. It's like playing bowling. If you line them up, you can just freaking spare them. Hell yeah. I gotta get like a nice little Wii Sports graphic going there saying spare whenever I do that. That'd be really fun. So yeah, I like that move. It needs some tweaking though. It's very, very rough. Like, I haven't even animated it properly yet. I've just got this static pose, and the momentum is completely bonkers, but it's, it tests the idea out. It wouldn't be much use spending all this time polishing it if I was going to take it out eventually, so everything looks really rough, and this is really broken. As you can see, I can just slide around everywhere. But, yeah, it's just to test it, mainly. Anyway, let's get to, let's make some more stuff. I might extend this floor out. And, I might make I'm going to put a staircase in. I think we could use a staircase. I'm feeling some staircase vibes. Where's my super grid folder? There we go. Okay, some super grid stairs. While I do that, have you ever thought about a level selection that you could free roam in? That has been suggested a lot. I don't know. It could be fun. at the same time, it's expensive. Making an open world. It costs a lot of time and a lot of money. So I don't know. Can't make any promises on that, but I want to play more games where they implement that in a satisfying way to really know for sure. And one of those games, I think I showed it at the beginning of the stream. I can't remember the name of the game, but it's like it's not Jet Set Radio. And for those, yes, I have heard of Jet Set Radio. I haven't played Jet Set Radio, but there's another game that's similar to Jet Set Radio that is set in it's like a multiplayer open world, which is fascinating. But at the same time, it's, well, yeah, like I was watching gameplay this morning because I'd never seen it before, and it looked interesting how there was a lot of missions placed around this open area, and you would pick them up from different NPCs and do them throughout this city. And it seemed kind of cool. I liked that it felt like you were in this world, and it kind of suspends your disbelief, and you don't feel like you're just in a maze or an obstacle course. It feels like you're in a real place, and that feeling I really like. At the same time though, it's a lot of work to build a level that big. So I want to try and stick to these tightly controlled obstacle courses, but try and still make them feel cool, well, that's going to come with art assets later on probably, but that's the end goal. That's an end goal I'm trying to work towards, but we'll see how far I get. But yeah, you should add fireball shots from cannons to dodge. Actually, as a matter of fact, I do have that. Let me add it. Where did I put him? Let me add my turret boy in here. Let's get him in. I don't think everyone's seen him yet. I only showed him at the very beginning. But I got this little fusion turret that shoots these projectiles. And they're not textured yet. Oh, it's okay. It's killing me instantly. I should probably. I'm gonna move this over here just so that we can like test them out. So I'm gonna go around this corner, and you can see if I get in his sights, he starts shooting these projectiles. If I take one shot, boom, I'm dead, and I end up back wherever I spawned in. So yeah, there we go. I'll put him, I'll leave him in here for this alternate route, but if you slide into him, if you're wall running, dodge his projectiles and slide into him, you can take him out, which I think's kind of, I'm enjoying it. I think it's pretty cool. Cool. Yeah, I don't know what the deal is with, like, for some reason, grinder mechanic automatically equals Sunset Overdrive. So yeah, that's a comment I've been getting a lot lately, where it's like I add a grind mechanic or something, and everyone's like, okay, yeah, this game is now Sunset Overdrive, despite the fact I've got no weapons or anything. So that's pretty funny. Yeah, actually, yeah, the turrets were inspired mainly by Ratchet & Clank, one of the PS3 games, Tools of Destruction, and they very rarely, they had these little turret guys in that were a real pain to deal with because they were really, like, lethal. But I thought, hey, that might be a fun idea. The appearance was also, like, the idea for a turret was also inspired by this very old tutorial series I followed. I don't know if people have heard of it anymore, but it was like a really old Unity tutorial back from like Unity 2, like way back when Unity wasn't even free, like way back then. And they had like this exact same turret. And that was like the first enemy I ever learned how to program in Unity. I got stuck on it for like a whole month. And this took me like a few days. So it felt like, it doesn't take me a whole month to program a turret anymore. So that felt pretty cool. Anyway, let's continue on with our map. I've been chatting a bit. I'm just gonna answer one more question quickly. I should make it so that each enemy drops one of the yellow points. Actually, yeah, that'd be a cool idea. I'm gonna quickly write that down in Notepad. Put that over there. Thanks for that suggestion. Oh yeah, and Jet Set Radio, that too. Everyone's like, oh yeah, Project Feline is now like basically Jet Set Radio. So I mean, sure, whatever. Just wonder what the next game I'm gonna get compared to is gonna be. Like if I like add combat or anything, it's gonna be like, oh, this game is now Dark Souls, I don't know, or God of War. That's pretty, I don't know, it's pretty funny. I've played a little bit of Sunset Overdrive. I have it on Xbox, but then I learned it came out for Steam, and I got really annoyed because I have like this OCD for wanting to have everything on one platform. So yeah, if you guys were also like kind of angered by that, F in the chat for people who bought Sunset Overdrive on Xbox without realizing it come out on PC eventually. But no, it's a good game. I love it. It's really I've only played like the tutorial level, but the mechanics felt really fun. Right, so I'm just gonna... I don't know what I'm gonna do with this next area. I honestly don't have a clue, but I think I should make a wall, keep that wall going. I'm gonna look at my images for some quick inspiration. I think we could use some grind rails now that we're talking about Jet Set Radio and all that. I reckon we should put a grind thing in here. So I'm gonna add like a railing on those stairs, and I'm gonna show you how I do that once I move these walls a bit lower. So let's get you in. Oh, that's like, is that okay? Okay, it looked off there for a bit. Actually, yeah, no, that is off by like one. It's like 25 millimeters off. That's aggravating. Maybe if I like move that down, because this isn't off. I don't understand. Yeah, working with grids is kind of weird. Occasionally, maybe. Oh no, I need to move this down. There we go. That needs to be down here. There we go. Then I can move this. And now, yeah, now it's lined up there. Awesome. Looks nice and pretty. Okay, let's get some railings. So I'm gonna head over to my placeables. I think it's in placeables. Rail, there we go. BP grind rail, let's go. Now there's a bit of a weird bug with the grind rails that a lot of you might have noticed if you tested out, if you went in the test level in the last build. And that's that sometimes it goes like forcefully in one direction. And it's kind of weird. I haven't quite figured out yet how the logic works, but I'm just gonna I'm gonna rotate this. Well, yeah, I'm just gonna take the endpoint actually of this, move that across, and this is a spline shape for those wondering. And I can make as many of these as I want, but I'm gonna stick with 2 to keep it simple, and we're gonna just try out how this is. So I should be able to jump to it and grind down. There we go. All right, actually, okay, no bugs. Awesome. That actually works as I expect it to. And then maybe if down here we jump, we can like get onto another area. All right. Okay, so there, I should probably move it a bit lower, I think. So if I just move that down, and I'll make it thinner as well, and I'll show you how to do that. So in this, it might be a bit hard to see because I know I've got my face cam down in the corner here, but there's a little setup tab here, and there's track data, and this is like an array of data. And each of these points are indexed, and each of them has a set of properties, such as the roll, the width, thickness, offset, and that's like where it's gonna put Gabriella when she grinds on it. So if I set the offset to 0, she's gonna be like centered on the grind rail, which isn't what we want. But I put it at 25 because that tends to be like a good value. Oh, I'm getting pinged in the chat again. I don't know. I'm gonna just quickly check what's going on. Was the game you were talking about called Hover? Yeah, I'm pretty sure it was. I might buy it actually, because I'm curious. Very curious about how that game... I hadn't heard of it, but then someone in the comments said that you should check out Hover. So I actually might check that out. I don't know. Might be fun. Oh, some more... I got like 5 questions in a row here. I'm going to quickly like pound through these. Can you tell me how close that is to your current version? This is like prefaced with... People are saying it's like Sunset Overdrive, but to me it looks more like a blend of Jak 2 and Mirror's Edge. Could you tell me how close that is to your current version? I'm not quite sure what you mean, but I have played, unlike, I've finished Mirror's Edge recently. I've played a little bit of Jak 2 and I played a little bit of Sunset Overdrive. I don't really know much about Jak 2's mechanics apart from that it's got hover cars. And then Mirror's Edge, I mean, it's got like, Mirror's Edge is parkour. It has some kind of wall running in it. And and then like Sunset Overdrive has the grinding. So I don't know. I guess you could. I don't know. The way I think about it, it's not really mainly just a accumulation of different games, because at the end of the day, certain mechanics don't always deliver certain experiences. I think that's something that a lot of people overlook, especially like game designers. Like I've fallen for this trap a lot, where it's like, oh, if I add this mechanic, it's going to make it like that game. I don't necessarily think that's the case, because, for example, like games like Portal, they implement like a first-person camera with shooting, but that feels very different to a first-person shooter, like typically. Like it feels very different to Counter-Strike. So what I tend to think of when I design mechanics is, I like look at the set of mechanics I do have and go, okay, what are these mechanics, what's the mission that these mechanics want to do? And for me, I think I've stated this before in a few videos, it's like precision, well, not precision like as in movement, because that's really, really annoying, but like precise timing with momentum. That's sort of like the vibe I'm going for. And then from that, I then extrapolate that into what mechanics deliver that feeling of momentum and reward you for precise timing. And so far, the mechanics I've chosen, I think, do a decent job at that. Like, wall riding requires, it gets you momentum, and you can use precision timing to determine when you jump and how you get to a platform with it. And then the grind rail is sort of similar, you know, when you get a gap in a rail, you have to time your jump precisely, and it gives you momentum. So that's sort of how I think about it. It's less like, oh, this game has this mechanic, I'm going to copy it. It's more like, what experience does this equal, and is this what I want? And that's mainly what I've been doing for the past year. It's just figuring that out, figuring out what works, what doesn't. Like, for example, I had guns in a build once, and that sucked. That was so not fun. I hated it. If I wanted to shoot anything, I could not wall run and aim at the same time. It was just too much. So I had to like stop just to get an accurate shot on something, and that completely ruined, at least in my opinion, it ruined the flow of the game. And I'm like, yeah, I don't know. It just didn't feel like what I wanted to deliver. So that's why I took that out. Anyway, let's move on. I'm gonna make this grind rail thinner. I've been chatting for a bit. So to change the thickness, I just have this thickness multiplier. So I'm gonna change that to 0.5 because, oh come on, please work. 0.5. Oh, that kind of worked. It's like it's squished it. Oh, there's thickness and width. My bad. So I changed both of these. I reckon that's a good thickness. I think that's visible. Might put a light around here at some point later. Anyway, alright, next section, let's go. So we grind down here, and then maybe, I don't know, what if we put a gap? Let's see what this is like. I like that. I think that's cool. And can we still make it over the gap? Oh, okay, now we've got that bug I was talking about. Yeah, so sometimes I jump on the rail and it takes me to the completely opposite end. So that's... The way to fix that is so weird. What I have to do, I have to put the rail backwards. So, okay, this is gonna be tricky. So I have to take this actor, rotate it the other way around, because it by default will want to go the opposite direction. I don't know why. It just kind of does. So I'm gonna try and line this up with the bottom of the stairs best I can. And we have to like make the rail go the opposite way, and yeah, that'll fix it. Yeah, it's weird, but it's a prototype. It's fine. Okay, now there's a bit of a problem where now if I try and move this up, it's trying to bend the rail. So I don't know what the deal is there. Maybe if I shrink, or maybe if I just rotate all this, that could be, yeah. All right, let's pop in and see if that plays. Okay, now I completely missed the rail. All right, well I gotta make that gap bigger. Excuse me. Am I gonna make a level creator? That is an excellent question. It's something on the shelf, but I honestly cannot promise that there will be a level creator. I can definitely see the value in it though. I understand that a lot of people want to create their own levels, which would really be awesome. At the same time, I am a single guy. I'm just one developer that knows a bit of programming. I don't say I would know enough to build a level builder. At least one that would be as good as this, or even somehow smartly integrate the Unreal editor. I don't know if I'm legally allowed to do that even, so I'm not sure if I would. I think if I had to build a level builder, I'd have to build some kind of custom controller, kind of like this mode where you can look around a map, kind of like Halo's Forge, basically. I feel like I'd have to program something like that, which could take like months. So it's on the shelf. Can't really promise it, but it's on the shelf. It's in my head. It's like, it could be a maybe thing if I get time. I guess the cool thing would be if I had like the time and the funds, like, and if I had like a spare 6 months, and if I could survive through that time, then I guess I would try doing it and see how that goes. But at the moment, I can't really make any promises, but yeah, it's an idea. Maybe you could make the grind rail invisible. I don't know what that would do exactly. Anyway, let's work on this next bit. So yeah, I know there's a lot of people wanting like, oh, can we have custom levels? But yeah, it's a big thing. I don't know if I could do it. It's one day maybe, but I don't think it'll be soon. So yeah, try not to get too excited. All right. Now this next bit, I'm not quite sure what it's going to be yet, but I'm getting some feeling of, I don't know, what do I feel like putting in here? Maybe I'll put in like a little wall run gauntlet or a challenge or something. So I might, okay, let me think. I might make this thinner so that it's only going to be for like this lower path. What I will do for this gap, because I want to try and see if I can build levels without having gaps in them. So I'm going to make a little pit that I'm going to add a kill trigger zone to later, in case we fall in there. So I'm going to make like a, I'm going to make one of these. So this is going to be like a little death pit. So I'm going to make a wall for it. That'll be maybe 4 meters. 4 meters should do it. That's pretty deep. Might move these down a little bit. There we go. And then, of course, I'll worry about adding like the trigger zones in later on and the textures and whatnot, because I'm gonna make this a lava pit, this little bit. Let's see if we can still. I hope we can't cross that still. Okay, we go straight into the pit. Awesome. But if I get on the rail, if I grind and jump, then we make it. So, awesome. All right, now for my next trick. I'm gonna add some walls to the side, so you can't like glitch yourself up here as well. I don't know if I should make that pit a little, yeah, I'm gonna make it a little bigger. Just so that I'm getting really frustrated, there's only like half like a meter there, so I'm gonna bring that out there and just see how that feels. Okay. Move that down. Sweet, okay. Ooh, okay. So yeah, you probably saw me this is like the zigzag glitch where you just can zigzag up a wall. I don't really know if it's a glitch. It's like a cool feature, I guess, but it's kind of exploitative at the same time, because if I ever get stuck, I can just zigzag my way up. Okay, I can still make that jump. Awesome. So let's move you back. Sweet. All right. So I just want to double, triple check. Okay, sweet. That still kills me. And then if I, there we go. That felt cool. I want to leave that in. Now this next bit, I don't know how big to make this, but I feel like I might shorten this down a little. And we'll put in like a little, we'll put in some more pits actually, yeah, we'll do some of that. So I'll just copy this, but instead of grinding to jump over them, we might do some wall riding instead. Because we haven't done a lot of wall, we've only done like one bit of wall riding so far, so I might add some more areas in which we can do that. So I'm gonna move these two as close as I can to here. And we might make these a bit taller. Or I'll leave them down there. We'll make other walls later. I'll just put a placeholder one over here for the moment. How's the chat room going? I haven't checked in a little bit. Do I already know the lore of the game? Oh yeah. This is oh man, it's something so exciting that I really wish I could talk about, but I'm focused on the gameplay at the moment. I'm not really too... I have some ideas about story. I've had ideas for years on like the setting and story, but ultimately this is something... Actually, yeah, here's a cool little topic. I'm gonna go on a little tangent about game ideas. Because a lot of the time when I was first making my very first games, I found that a lot of the time I actually didn't have game ideas. I had ideas for a story. I didn't actually have an idea for a game. And that was a really painful like period to go through, because I found a lot of the time I'd have to make a lot of sacrifices, and I'd have to there's a word for it. You have to like rip your idea apart, basically. I don't know what the correct wording is. There's like a phrase that sums it really well. You get attached, like if you end up with a story idea first, you end up getting attached to it, then you have to completely rip it to shreds to fit it in the game. And I knew that I had already done that a few times before Project Feline, so I knew going in, story would take a back seat for the first major development milestones, because I mean it is a game, not a book. And I think so far I'm not as invested in the story mindset as I used to be, but I think it's paid off so far, because now I have these set of mechanics that I honestly, this is like the most fun I've had in my own game like since anything I've made, really. Like I could play this for like half an hour non-stop, but yeah, so it's sort of like a not on the high list right now, but I have some ideas. What I do know for a fact is that those ideas don't matter, and I'm gonna have to completely rip everything down apart and remake it to fit. That's what I know is gonna happen, because at the end of the day, I mean, I never studied I did well in like writing in high school, but there's a lot more to telling a story than having a character in an environment. There's like a whole art to it, and I want to learn that a lot more and get practiced with that first. So learning how stories are actually written, what makes a good story, those sorts of things, like why humans even like stories to begin with. I have a good idea why they do, but I want to try and reconstruct a new story based around these old ideas that I've had, and sort of bring new life into them in a way, so that I can still use these ideas I've been dreaming about like for ages, but I've like what's the word? I've like refined them, I guess, is a good way to put it. So that's gonna happen a lot later on, I think. That's gonna be after I know what the game is. But yeah, I want to try my best on that regard. Can we go from rail grinding to a wall run? That would be cool, yeah. We might add one of these in this little area. I want to do this bit where you jump on the ground first, and then give you another challenge with that idea in this next bit, maybe. So yeah, that's a cool idea. I'm just gonna look at some few more pings here. I'm just trying to yeah, it's hard for me to like read chat and work at the same time. A lot of people are talking about a backflip idea. I might look into that later, but it sounds cool. I'm gonna make another... Okay, I'm gonna make a big pit here. Big pit. Very big. Thanks as well for everyone who's like up at 4 a.m. coming to watch the stream. I really appreciate it. It's always been kind of difficult for me to coordinate these streams because I am all the way down in Down Underland, Australia, where it's like we are so disconnected from reality that I don't even know what time it is like in the rest of the planet. So it is kind of difficult. Like here it's like midday. I tried my best to sync it to like Los Angeles because according to my YouTube analytics, a lot of my viewers come from Los Angeles. So yeah, that was sort of my attempt at trying to do a stream schedule, I guess. But yeah, for those that came out, I really appreciate your support. It's like really cool to have you all out here. I have no idea how many people that are even here actually. 196 concurrent viewers. Yikes. That's making me a bit nervous. Awesome. Well, thank you to everyone who came out. I appreciate it. Okay. So we got some walls. Those are all pivoted nicely. Sweet. Okay. I wonder if we can wall run on this, like across this gap. Okay, that seems like a good distance. I'm gonna move this closer. We'll make this like a fiery hell pit later or something. I don't know. I wonder if there's something could I do something a bit more dynamic, I wonder. Let me just like play it from here. Okay. That's a little punishing that. I don't know. I'm not too sure about this grind idea now. Because now I see this new focal point. I'm looking at that. I'm not looking at this gap in front of me now. And this rail is still glitching. Why? Why you do this to me? Oh, hey, Josh Hodel. Thank you so much for the super chat donation. Are you using YouTube to learn? Just took a class with CGMA and I learned so much. Would recommend it for UE4. I'm not sure what that is exactly. You might have to fill me in. I don't know what CGMA is, but I do tend to use YouTube. And if you're asking me if I use YouTube to learn, yeah, absolutely. I watch a lot of tutorials. I would sort of describe myself as like self-taught in a way. Most of my game dev I just learnt from sitting down, and instead of having friends and doing what normal people do, I just kind of locked myself in my room and said, I'm gonna try doing games. And that was my childhood basically. So I guess in a way, yeah, I used YouTube a lot to learn how to do game dev. But yeah, thanks for the $5. But yeah, if anyone knows what CGMA is, that'd be awesome if someone could explain it. Seeing if there's any more questions. Nothing really. CG Master Academy is CGMA. Okay, I'll check that out. It sounds like some kind of online learning thing. Alright, I'm gonna do a thing. Okay, bear with me. I'm gonna do a thing where it's like I have this tilted, just so that you're not, I don't know, maybe you're less likely to look at it, so that it takes up less of the screen. I don't know. It's an idea. We'll see how it goes. I feel like it could be a bit more fun, so I'm gonna try it. And I should really change, I gotta change to local mode instead of global mode. Like that, there we go. Boom. Alright. Gotta move this as well. And this. And this. And this. Alright. Now we can... Hopefully that's still lined up nicely. Because if it's not, I'm gonna be angry. Okay, now that's not bad. This feels kind of cool. Alright, let's go back up to the top. Alright. I wonder, you know, can I make this gap bigger? I wonder. Let's first, I'm gonna take all this. And we are going to move it. a bit further up, just so that I can actually see that gap before I plummet to my death, because I think it's a little too punishing, just a bit. It's kind of like, if you're a little player and you're like, oh, grind rail, hell yeah, and then you like fall into that pit immediately. I don't know. Feels a little like, feels like the game's punishing you for using the grind rail, which isn't what I intended. I wanted it to be more of like a, hey kid, there's a gap, you better watch out. So I want to maybe make this bigger, see if we can still make that jump. So I'm just going to loosely move those around to test it. Okay, that gap is a lot more visible, which is good. Oh, can I get on the rail without it glitching out on me? Alright, oh come on. Please just let me get on the rail. I don't know why it keeps doing that backwards grind thingy. Maybe if I rotate it might work. Yeah, it's a prototype. It's a feature, not a bug. Alright, that is much better, I think. And if I add like a ominous light, that might, or lack of light, maybe a dark pit, that might be a good idea. Alright, so let's try and like put these all back to where they're meant to be going. Maybe I'll move that out a little bit more. Sweet. Oh yeah, so make the right path elevate over the left path. I'm assuming by right path you mean this one. Yeah, I'll get to that. I'll move on to this one after. I want to see if I can lead this somewhere and then have this right path go a lot like in a shortcut way to it. So I'm thinking of this area as like the punished, not really, well I guess kind of, it's like sort of like a punishment for not taking the shortcut, but it's like, it's more like a gauntlet little thing or an obstacle, where it's like, okay, you took the long path, kiddo, time to do some wall riding. And but I guess the player, I don't want them to feel like, oh no, it's more going to be like, oh yeah, wall running. But then if there's people that don't really care about the thrill of wall running and want to get like a speedrun time record or something, then yeah, they would be wanting to take a shorter route. But that's sort of that's the idea, I guess. When I say the word punish the player, because I'm always very cautious. I don't like punishing the player, but you wanna use like there's a lot of psychology techniques when it comes to building gameplay and levels. A lot of it has to do with positive and negative feedback loops, and I don't know, some of you might have heard those words before, but it's basically like a loop of events that provides either positive feedback or negative feedback. An example of a negative feedback loop would be like in Mario Kart, when you're coming first place, you get punished for coming first by getting like that weight power up that slows you down, or getting blue shelled by someone. But a positive feedback loop would be like, I guess when you come in last place, you get a boost, or I don't know, what's another example? Or like, you know, in Sonic, when you perform a homing attack, when you jump in midair and press the button, when the enemy's locked on, you do a homing attack. That's like a positive loop. So that's like a little example. Alright, so this gap I've made a lot bigger, and it's still traversable, but it's a lot more visible now, which is awesome, because now I can actually prepare for it. And I'm going to use, it's still a bit hard to see, but that's because of the lighting, so I'm going to improve that later down the track. But let's keep going this way. So, I don't know about this area. I wonder how I can make that challenging. Actually, hey, yeah, you know, let's do a little something on this platform. Let's have a little hot zone here. Let's add some of those drones. Where are my buddies? Oh, that's a turret. Where's my drones? Yeah, let's add some of these boys in, so that you have to like, you land and you immediately have to like run for your life. I won't bother rotating them. Let's just like put them around. So let's start from back here. If I land, oh yeah, I gotta, you know, I'll just do that later. I'm gonna put a nav mesh area there, and we might move this whole area. So I'm just gonna put these guys as a reminder for later, and we'll keep constructing. So what I might do as well, I need more geometry. Get my super grid meshes. We'll get, I feel like adding something in there. We'll add a ramp. Like one of these boys. And can I line that up? Please let me line it. No, it's like a millimeter off. Oh. No, oh well, it's fine. Maybe if I use like a smaller, yeah, that's good enough. All right. Are you still planning for this to be a third-person shooter with gunplay, or more of a 3D parkour action platformer? I'd say for the moment it's going more of the platforming route, less on the shooter route. Yeah, it was kind of weird actually. I went back and watched my very first devlog video a few weeks ago, and yeah, I remember like I was firstly inspired by like Vanquish and other Warframe and those sorts of third-person shooters, but as a player, because I'm mainly when I started making this, I just wanted to make something I would find fun. And yeah, I'd played some Titanfall and all that back then, but I think I enjoyed. I mean, in Titanfall, it has a lot more combat loop than my game does. I enjoyed the combat in that because it gave you like these cinematic moments to shoot enemies that coming at you, and you can take cover and slide and all that. But when I was trying to implement that in my game, I mean, I didn't get very far. I only added weapons, but it felt it kind of was a bit of a pace breaker, and I think I decided to prioritize movement more because as a player, like I grew up with platformers, and then I got into shooters later when I was like in my teens. Not to say that I don't find them, like I both find them pretty fun, both genres. But for the moment, like designing movement and combat was just something it's a rabbit hole I didn't quite want to go down yet. So I thought, you know, let's just do movement and see how we go there. And maybe if I just do movement, focus on that only, maybe it could be really awesome. And that's sort of the mindset I had, and I kind of just dropped shooting. Of course, I reused that code for the turrets, so I'm kind of glad I explored that, because then I had my shooting code in, and I used that for those turret enemies that we saw back here. So this little turret guy actually, yeah, uses the same script for shooting as I had for Gabby when she had weapons, except this guy fires projectiles instead of hit scan. So yeah, anyway, so that, yeah, it's more of a, I don't know, I want to say like platformer, but it's like, when I think platformer, I think Mario, and I don't think I'm necessarily going for what Mario's doing. So I don't know. I guess it's just what it is, I guess. What is Gabriella's objective in the game? Well, the gameplay objective is to clear levels in a quick, stylish fashion. But in terms of the story, I don't know. Like I said earlier, I've been focused on gameplay mainly. I'm going to be focusing on story once my gameplay loop is solid. That way I can try to construct a story that makes sense, at least tries to make sense with the gameplay in some way. So that's my goal. But yeah, I don't really know what, I mean, she's got this suit, she can run. It's just seemed like a fun idea. And maybe we can turn it into something cool story-wise later on, but I'm not sure if that will matter if the game like isn't fun. So that's sort of my thoughts on it. Okay, I'm gonna copy these walls. I feel like maybe you should try adding another turn here so that we can sort of loop around. So I'm gonna try angling these even more. Actually, you know, maybe I'll just do a complete 90-degree turn. I don't know. Let's try that. So I'm gonna drag one of these in. We're gonna be adding power-ups. I don't know, maybe? Depends on like what they do. I mean, what I'd like, I don't know, I might experiment with it, but my general mindset when it comes to mechanics is that I like the idea of Gabby being able to do everything from the start, and it's just a matter of the player learning the mechanics and getting more proficient, and it's rewarding them for their real skill rather than what the game allows you to do at any given time. Like, an example of that, in the Star Wars Fallen Order that Respawn developed. It was I love the game. I haven't played that much of it. I've only like done the first 2 worlds, but I really liked the movement, but I didn't like how you had to unlock them. And I know that's a feature a lot of people want to see in my game, where it's like you unlock different features, but personally, I think it's kind of, maybe for an exploration game, I know Star Wars has exploration, that might work, but I think for the game I want to go, the experience I want to try and deliver, I'm not sure if exploration's going to be as big of an element. I think I want to just have it so that you've got the full toolbox and you just need to like figure out, without like it being spoon-fed to you, like figuring out how those mechanics interplay with each other and what you can and can't do. And it's sort of like that state where it doesn't really necessarily have a lot of different mechanics, but it has like a few mechanics that combine in a nice way. And it's not immediately obvious how, but the skilled players are like, oh, you can do this combo or something. To me, that just seems a bit more exciting for the thing I'm trying to build. I know that a lot of Ratchet & Clank games did that with its with like when you would unlock different gadgets, and it's cool in Ratchet & Clank. I don't know if it's going to be cool in Project Feline though, just because of the nature of the levels. And I think, to me, if you're like high speed, wanting to speed run through this, and then you come across a path that you haven't unlocked, to me, I feel like that's a massive punishment. And it's like, oh, the game doesn't want me to go here yet. I guess I'll die or something. I don't know. That's sort of what it feels like. So I don't know, maybe. But power-ups that like are a bit more like, I don't know. If I had to think of a power-up I'd want to experiment with, maybe like some kind of speed boost, maybe, I don't know. But I'd like to give more agency to the player. Like, I don't want you to just have to pick up an item. Maybe it's like it's a reward for it. Instead of just picking something up, I don't know, do like, just know how to do the mechanics in a certain way or something. But I don't know, a lot of ideas to experiment with there. So I don't know what'll end up happening, but how would that work canonically? There is no canon. There is no canon yet. I'm not really too concerned how canonically things are going to work, because there is no canon. So I'm just going to make some ideas. If they work, then we'll figure that out later. After all, I don't think everything has to make perfect scientific sense. Like none of this makes sense. What is this? But you know, people don't care if it makes sense. It's fun. All right, I'm liking this little bit. That's kind of cool. Add some, feels like I don't know. It gives me a feeling, which is good. That's how I know it's like kind of on the right track. I don't know. What do you guys think? Where should we be going from here? Any thoughts? Am I the only one working on the game? Yes, it's just me, your boy. And will I be putting Easter eggs in? I don't know. Maybe in the future. Probably not till the very end. Yeah, no. It's not really a huge priority doing Easter eggs. Am I gonna add some jokes? I don't know. I don't think I'm that funny, but maybe. I don't know. Depends on the tone, really, I guess. I'm not quite sure exactly what tone would be best. I don't know, we'll see. So, I don't know, let's see. If you guys have any like thoughts or feedback on the level so far, feel welcome to let me know in the chat. My brain's starting to get a little, yeah, because I've been talking a lot. So yeah, my brain might not be at 100% CPU capacity, if you catch my drift. So, there's a little gap. I'm going to ignore that gap. It's a prototype. But I want to do something with this next bit. I'm not quite sure what yet. But yeah, if you guys have any thoughts, let me know, or anything you'd like to see. Oh, thanks, Santi. Glad you enjoy my work. Go straight down, then continue. Alrighty. We'll make a straight path. I'm thinking we should add some kind of... Actually, could I actually get through this whole section without touching the ground? I wonder. Can I actually make that? Oh, not quite. It's really hard. I might need to move. I feel like I should do something maybe with this wall. Maybe move this out. I don't know if that's going to be like impossible to read. Like, I don't know if I can do that. I don't know. That doesn't feel natural. Because I can't see what's around there. I need to be able to see, excuse me, some kind of indication of like, because see how there's this little, like, if I put a light source there, you can be like, oh, okay, I need to go this way. So I don't want to obstruct that, but I don't know. Maybe some grind rails. Maybe a few of those. Yeah, because someone mentioned we should have grind rail then wall run, so I'm gonna use that. Let's try adding that in. That might be cool. Maybe a little grind rail segment here or something. A little bit of fun. So this later could be all like a lava pit. It could kill you. So I might add a checkpoint. But there's enemies here. God, oh, how am I gonna do this? Maybe I'll just take out these enemies for the moment. We'll put those in somewhere else. We'll put a checkpoint here. Collectible. Oh no, not collectible. Oh no, it's in my core folder. Placeables. Shh. No, we don't want one to... We'll put the orbs in probably last, I think. For those wondering. So I'll put a little checkpoint in. I just want to make sure that's actually centered. And it like kind of isn't, but it's fine, I guess. Sweet, okay. So checkpoint, and then Pit of Death will go here, and then we'll add some grinding and wall running combo area. So let's get some rails going. There's me grind rail. All right, there we go. What if I put in poles that the player could stand on? If you mean like an Assassin's Creed, that might be interesting. Although I haven't really programmed in a system like that, so I don't quite know how that would work. But I don't know. Maybe some platforms could be an idea. Maybe some little bit of platforming. Add a roof. Yeah, I'll go through and add roofs like in a bit, because I might end up moving this whole segment, and I don't want to screw up like the topology. So we'll add some roofs in a bit, but for the moment, we're just gonna get some rails going. I guess we'll start off with just one and see how we go. Can I rotate this to actually be lined up? Moment of truth. Oh no, it is lined up. Okay. So I'll put that in the middle. Let's see if we can actually jump onto the rail from here. Okay, we can. Sweet. All right. So, I mean, I guess that's a good length. Yeah. Okay. So we'll put in like a massive. Oh, put in a massive gap. And then we'll have you have to wall ride up to the next rail. We'll do something like that. And I could probably... I don't know why I've got, like, these. I could probably just get rid of all these and make these all just longer, just to save geometry. Kind of line that up. Ooh. When in doubt, explosions can open many doors. Alright, I will keep that in mind. Okay. Alright. So let's get some walls going. I might just stretch these ones out, I guess. Because this is all just gonna be a big pit anyway. So I'm just gonna make this all one large. Yeah, some of you might have noticed, I tend to try and segment the levels as much as I can, but I also try to reduce it in places it doesn't need to be. Mostly so that like each little area is sort of built out of its own self-contained bits. I've attempted to do that here, I guess. Like this is like a segment that I can like move. That's like this segment all made of its own bits. So if I ever needed to like just take this like specific area out with these specific walls, I can just do that without taking all these walls with it. So that's just sort of a little explanation there. Oh, what's going on in the chat here, guys? Have you ever had burnout from this project? Oh, luckily not as badly as I thought. That's an interesting topic. I should really do a video on that sometime. But to answer the question, before this project, I was recovering from a massive burnout. I just was not inspired whatsoever. But so far, the worst it's probably gotten was maybe around the end of last year. I just was really tired, and I think I just took off 2 weeks, and it didn't feel that bad. I almost didn't, I don't know, I felt like I kind of needed to take a break, but I also kind of felt pressured because of like last time I took a break, I had no audience or following, so it felt a bit weird to take time off. But I think at the end of last year, like December, I think I just took off 2 weeks and just what did I do? I don't know. Went outside a few times, surprisingly. But I kind of just like didn't think about the game, and that was surprisingly enough to get me back rejuvenated. It is a bit tricky though, coming back from burnout or a break of any kind, because you kind of get this into the habit of just relaxing, and then you kind of have to get into the habit of like having that work schedule. But after the first week, I kind of got back into it I was really excited to get back to it, and that was like a good thing. But I guess what that means is that maybe the worst is yet to come, so I'm a little nervous. I hope I don't burn out like too quickly, but I'm trying my best to like moderate my time so I'm not like constantly stressing. What are you planning to do as a death penalty? Well, I do have for the old model that you guys are probably used to seeing from the prototype builds, there are some death animations on it, and when you get tased by these drones, it'll play the death animation, but I don't have any death animations for the new model yet, so I just have it insta death. And then when you fall into one of these pits, I'm gonna have this like a lava texture. You kind of just respawn back to a checkpoint. I don't necessarily want to prolong the death, because I think if I punish them by making them watch through this long transition screen, it's just gonna be a pain. And people are gonna go to the pause menu and click restart. So I don't necessarily want to make the deaths too... It's more like an inconvenience rather than a punishment, I think. Kind of like those ominous sci-fi movies where they say death is but an inconvenience. I suppose that's like, that's sort of the direction I'm taking with the game. I don't want death to be like, you died and you get all the way set back to the beginning. Maybe a fixed camera for the grind section. That's something I'd like to look into eventually. At the moment, it's not high on the list, but I do want to perhaps experiment with different, like, changing the camera's position and angle at certain bits, so that, you know, in one area it's a wide shot, one area it's close up. Because I did change the camera's position in the new update. However, I don't know, most people didn't really say much about it. Some people said they liked it. Some people said that it was awkward not being able to see the character's feet, and I agree with that. It is kind of tricky when you're doing precise platforming. So I was thinking, I don't know, maybe I do something later where, let's say, I don't know, for example's sake, if I enter this staircase bit, the camera like zooms out and FOV expands, and then when I get to like a closed-in area, the camera is like a shoulder cam angle. I don't know, it's a few ideas I got, but I'm not going to really bother trying to do that just yet. That might be a thing that comes later. Oh yeah, so the Discord. If you guys want to join the Discord, link in the description for the invite link. We got some cool dudes there. Talk a lot about game development. Even I'm active there sometimes when I can. It's also the first place to see updates as well. Every time I do a stream or a video, I always announce it on Discord. So yeah, if you want to join that, link in the, at least it should be. I'm pretty sure it's linked in the description. I would have put that in. If not, could go to, like, if you go to the game's website, which I know for a fact is linked. If you go to the community page, you'll see the link to the Discord there. You should check Rocket League's. Yeah, I've seen Rocket League's camera settings. They're actually pretty decent. Like they're like holy, like that's a lot of camera settings. But yeah, you got to be careful though, because I mean in Rocket League, there's not much complex geometry in terms of like platforming. It's just like an arena. But I think if I add too many settings, you're gonna add some weird camera glitches that I have to test for, which will be a pain to try and fix. So yeah, I'm just gonna quickly play through this little area, just to make sure I can actually jump that grind rail, or at least I don't want to be able to jump it. Okay, so I just miss it, but I want to be able to wall ride. I want to be able to jump to it, wall ride, and then jump to it again. So I think what I might do, maybe if I move that, I kind of don't want them being centered. It's a bit difficult that way. So maybe move this closer this way. Just to kind of give you, if I put them slightly off to the side, it might incentivize you to use the wall. Just an idea. So let's try it. Yeah, this feels more like I should use that wall, and then I put this one out a bit further. Okay, sweet. What next? So we got 2 grind rails. I don't know, like if we get a bird's eye view here, it kind of... I want this next shortcut to sort of be like to cut across to wherever this new area might be. But I think we should just put it. I think we should put an area here first and then do the shortcut, and then we might call it a day for the moment. Because it's been about an hour and a half so far, so don't want to go on too long. What is your plan to make the game feel intense? I don't know. I don't have a plan yet, but I just want to experiment with things and see what feels good. I think enemies will help with that, but we'll see how that goes. I think a lot of the feeling of intenseness, I don't know, in gameplay there's only so much you can do. I think a lot of it is also going to come down to the visuals and the soundtrack. Because I was playing this like one of my other levels with like some like dubstep music in the background, and it felt a bit more intense that way. I was like, okay, that's like a thing I should start paying attention to, but that's going to come much later. So yeah. Yeah, that's a cool thing. I'm just reading like this comment from he says, one thing I've learned, if you ever get burned out, your love and passion will reach out and pull you back. I think that's definitely the case. At least in my experience, that's how it is. And that's a nice quote. I like that. That's awesome. And I guess maybe if it doesn't, it might also be an indicator of maybe it's like not what you're really passionate about, maybe. So I don't know, I like that quote. It's really cool. I haven't heard it put that way before. But yeah, I should really, yeah, you know, I should do some more videos on this sort of stuff, really. I do have a plan in the next, like, couple months. It depends on how things go. There's a lot of stuff behind the scenes going on, but I want to try and put out some more frequent videos that aren't devlogs, but more just me talking about things that I've sort of learnt over the years about making games and doing something in the creative field. So I don't know if you guys would be interested in that, but it's an idea. Just, you know, talking about my experiences with like burnout or coming up with ideas or organizing work, stuff like that. So I don't know, if you guys are down, like, would be interested in those videos, let me know. Because, yeah, I'd be more than happy to do them if there's demand for it. Actually, yeah, here's another thing. So a lot of people have been asking about tricks. And I'm not quite sure what people mean, because there's people saying, oh, it's a parkour game, so you're gonna have tricks in it. I haven't seen a lot of parkour games with tricks, so I'm not quite sure what people mean by that. So if someone could like elaborate on tricks, like, I don't know where I'd fit the tricks in exactly. Like, when I think tricks, I think of like Sonic Riders. Like, but those, in the first Sonic Riders game, they're really complicated to pull off. And I don't think that's the kind of mechanic that would fit. But then Sonic Riders 2 has very automated tricks, and it looks stylish. But I don't know where I'd fit that in, because I don't have any, like, you know, trick ramps or anything. So, yeah, if someone could, like, elaborate for me what they mean by, like, add tricks, like, where? I don't know where I'd add it. So if someone could, like, give me an idea of what they're picturing, I'd appreciate that a lot. Because I've been getting this comment all week, and I'm not quite sure what people mean. So that would really help me, because if I know what people mean, I could probably put it in, and that would be really awesome. Oh, like Tony Hawk's. Interesting. But Tony Hawk has a skateboard though, right? I'm not sure how exactly, like, what? Would I like just be able to run around, and then like if I press jump, I like do a trick or something? Is that, like, I don't know what people mean. I'm just like throwing ideas out. Ideas at the board, whatever the phrase. I don't know. But it's like, what? So if I jump, I do a trick, or if I jump and press a button, I do a trick. Like, yeah, I don't know. I need some context. Just jumping off stuff in general. Okay. Oh, like Sonic Generations. But those have like special trick ramps, if I remember. But I mean, because like, I think the reason why tricks work in Sonic Generations is because you get massive airtime. I don't know. Maybe I don't know yet. I don't know if my game has enough airtime to warrant tricks, unless they're like really quick. So I don't know. I might try it, but if that's like what people mean, I'll give that a shot. It should be easy to program. I just have to press button, play animation while in air or something. Making animation is gonna be the hard bit though. But anyway, yeah. Sorry, I haven't really been working on the level in a few minutes, so I'm gonna I'm gonna make this grind rail a bit shorter, I think. If I can click on the grind rail. Please. Why is it not letting me change the grind rail? This is weird. Where's the endpoint? Hold on. Alright. Where's the end of my rail? I don't know why it's not working. Maybe if... Okay, I'm going to duplicate this. Okay, I'm just going to respond to look at some of these responses. Sonic Advance or Sonic Rush. I actually haven't played the handheld Sonic titles, but I'll have a look at that. Tricks could be when you jump off rails or flip off rails and stuff. Okay. Yeah, that might... I can definitely picture... I know a lot of people want, like, being able to do, like, 3-lane, like, rail switching, kind of like in Ratchet and Clank. Or in, like, any game with grinding, I guess. I guess, like, most of them have that sort of mechanic. So that's something I'm going to work out in time. Definitely a cool animation for that would be awesome, I agree. But yeah. Let me just get these walls in position. Oh, excuse me. I can't remember if I made this gap too... I might need to move this out, actually. I was wanting to shorten the rail, but I actually can't find the endpoint for the rail for some reason. So I guess that's like the... It's supposed to be a little widget that lets me change the size, but it's not there for some reason. So we're just going to have to like work with this rail length. Oh, damn it, that glitch. Okay, come on. Let me go. No! Okay, come on. This time. Third time's a charm. Alright, there we go. Okay, yeah. You know, I was just gonna undo all that. Oh, let me just undo that, and then I should probably save my progress, actually. That's a good idea. I'm gonna move... Okay. Let's save this as... Let me just reset my layout. Let's save this in my maps folder. I haven't saved the entire hour yet, so... Make sure to save your work, guys, whenever you're doing stuff. So I'm going to call this action block 7, or action block 6, sorry. And there we go. I'm just going to quickly patch this area up, and then we'll work on that shortcut. Can you do a tutorial on the square style texturing? I don't know, yeah, like, I tried learning it, I honestly didn't get it, like, it's really difficult, so I'm not sure if I would be the right person to ask, but, yeah, there's probably someone else that, like, really knows it, that would know how to actually do that. I tried, but under time constraints I was under, I just, like, couldn't, I just had to do it the way I knew how to do it, but, yeah. Do I have plans to optimize using C++? I don't know, it's not really a... I guess I might look into it, like, around, like, if the game ever releases, like, in the far future, I'll look into ways I can optimize it. So far, it runs pretty nicely from what I've seen. Like, no one's really been complaining about performance. I mean, that is also because there's not really much being rendered. But, yeah, for me, my priority when it comes to the code is, like, making sure I can actually program it rather than having it, like, perform 100%. Which is like, I don't know, maybe it sounds a bit weird, but it's probably something I'm going to do later. Because I just want to make sure I can actually code the game first, and it's like, okay, this is playable, rather than if it runs at like a high frame rate. But I mean, it already runs pretty decently from the results I've been seeing and from the other players. No one's really been complaining. And because I have that graphics option, the graphics menu there, I think that makes it a lot more accessible. Because I notice a lot of speedrunners have been playing it on like ultra low settings at like some high ridiculous frame rate. So I think we're good on that front so far. Have you ever seen the game Zenith? I have not. But I will write that down on my notepad on the other screen and check this out for later. What is... Okay, so for those that were wondering that earlier question, the square style texturing, that was a technique from Arc System Works when they did... they were the guys who made the Guilty Gear games, They specifically use this technique for Guilty Gear 3 or Guilty Gear Xrd, which was the first game in which, instead of using animated sprites, they used 3D models that look like animated sprites, and that was like the whole magic, was that it looked hand-drawn, but it wasn't. It was all 3D. And I like studied that talk and every resource I could on it. There's actually surprisingly very little on that technique, which was why I wanted to make a video on it in the first place. But it's a great technique. It's very it's basically like the square style texturing. They basically UV map their character in these perfect squares, and it's really strange. They wrap it in all these weird ways so that when they draw line work, there's no aliasing of the texture. Because you know how on a bitmap, if you do a diagonal line, it gets all pixelated. They made everything in perfect straight lines so that it wouldn't get blurry. And it's like, yeah, it's kind of weird, but it definitely worked out for them. So yeah. Yeah, so I do show it in one of my videos. Like, I talk about it, but I could not for the life of me figure out how to do it properly. And I was looking at the credentials of these dudes. Like, these guys who made the game, they all have like 15 years veteran experience in like animation. And I'm like, okay, I'm not these people. So maybe I should just like do it my way for now and get this done on time, because I think I had already spent 2 months or something crazy like that on the model. So yeah, it's mostly a time constraint thing. A lot of people recommended to use UV squares plugin, and I did try that, but it didn't get me the exact technique, because they do it by hand the way they do it, and you have to, as far as at least from what I've found. So yeah, it's a whole thing. I'm gonna delete this area because I'm just noticing a problem, because it's so hard to like make curves with these straight objects. I'm gonna use one of those curvy bits of geometry. Maps, action box. No. I want super grid. Source meshes. Yeah, let's get one of these curvy things going. I'll use one of these. Yeah, it's getting so hard to make this turn with these straight pieces. So I'm just gonna try and see if I can fit these in and see where this goes. So I'm gonna check the chat. Chat set radio. Yeah, I haven't played it, honestly. I should really give it a try someday, because I know a lot of people have been comparing, like, oh, this looks like Jet Set Radio. It's like, cool. No idea what that is. But yeah, I guess I do now. Everyone's been saying. I don't know is it on PC? Is it on Steam? If it is, I'm totally trying it. But even if it isn't, I have a fair bit of consoles that I could try running. I know it's a pretty old game, so I'm not sure exactly what it was released on. What else are you planning to add to improve the gameplay? I'm not sure. I mean, I've added enemies. That's going to be coming in the next update, and we're going to experiment with that. But I think slowly, I don't want to like speak too soon here, but I think we might soon be coming to a point where it's like, I think that, look, like, there's always something you can do to improve the gameplay, I think. Like, I could spend a decade making this and make, like, the perfect gameplay, but the real question is whether or not I need to, like, spend, like, it's a really matter of, like, time constraints. I think that's a very important, most people hate time constraints because it's like, oh, you know, if this studio just had more time, they could have done this sort of thing. And yes, that's true in some cases, but there's also cases where, like, people spend way too long making something, and it's like a Half-Life 3 thing where like people never see it. So it's something I'm consciously trying to make an effort to be mindful of. But I want to say soon, like in the next couple months, I want to like have an idea by then what this is and start building on the production rather than the core, because I'm not sure if a game needs to be in development for like 5 years. honestly. Like, I know some games might. I mean, I've been developing this for about a year and a half, learning, and a lot of that has just been learning how to use Unreal, learning how to use AI, learning how to use all these like Blender and everything. So it's taken a bit longer than it would normally, but I do want to like start making, like, turning it into a game rather than a prototype. So yeah, I don't know. I don't really have that many ideas of what needs to really be there for it to be improved, but I don't know. There's probably stuff I'll think about along the way. It's mostly a matter of like, is what I have now fun? And if it's not, what can I do to make it fun? And if it's fun, then it's like, okay, sweet, we got something. So far, feedback's been very positive, so I think we're getting warm in that regard. Like, we're getting close to some sort of state where we can look at Project Feline and say, okay, this is like, we can sort of see what this thing is, and all it needs is content. That's the state I want to be at soon. So, I don't know. Yeah, not apart from like improving the already existing mechanics, there's not really much brand new things I don't think I want to experiment with, just for the sake of like, I think if I do, I'm gonna get so tempted and spend like another year just prototyping, which isn't what I want. So I mean, hopefully that answers your question. Why am I not making the game in Blender? Okay, I don't think you can. That might be why. Yeah, no, you can't make games in Blender, so that's why. You used to be able to. There's a myth that you used to be able to make games in Blender. That was true for a time, back in 2.7, but that is no longer a feature in Blender. And I personally didn't use it, but I don't think Blender is necessarily the best game engine. Not that I've used it or anything, but just from principle, I think it's mainly trying to be a 3D modeling software. So I don't think I would use it for a game. Okay, so this wall is actually turning out to be more troublesome than I thought. So I am going... I'm gonna maybe move this out further if I can. So I've been spending so long in this one corner. It's just kind of tricky to because I don't usually live stream dev a lot, so I'm not quite used to working and talking at the same time. Usually I'm like in dead silence, just listening to a podcast. So yeah, apologies for the lack of rapid progress. All right, so let's. I think I could put one of these here. I love how many shapes this pack gives you. The super grid pack, really handy. I can get like a half cylinder and just chuck it in. Now the angles are so weird at the moment, and that's just because of how I built it, but I think we can work with it. So I want to like make a cool thing about how I've coded my wall run is that it actually does work on these curved areas, which is awesome. I did a bit of tweaking lately that actually makes it even more improved, but it's a bit more sticky as a result. So I don't know what the consensus on that is generally, but it seems to be alright so far. So I'm going to move that over here. I might scale this back and put a new block in, if I can. It's just, yeah, the scale tool is all the way over there, so I have to like keep my eye on that corner where the scale tool is. Okay, there we go. And then I want to move this back as well. All right. How about putting a bot that reads the questions? Yeah, I don't know. I might look into that sometime, but yeah, it's I don't know if I'm going to be live streaming a lot, because I mean it's not something I'm used to, but if I do want to do it more, if you guys want to see me stream more regularly, will probably spend some time investing in like better systems, like having a better interface, because I just have the face cam at the moment, or having like I don't think I'd do text to speech though, but I would maybe, I don't know, maybe I have like a friend who's like available after the quarantine's over or something. I can be like, hey man, could you like come read the chat for me or something? So that might be a possibility someday, but for the moment I'm just trying to do my best to focus on both. Because yeah, I do have to spend most of my time working on the actual game, so I don't get a lot of time to polish up my stream setup or anything. But yeah, Do an underground section. Yeah, that might be cool. I might try doing that. But yeah, I think I'm gonna try and wrap things up soon, because I know it's been a while since I started. So I'm going to be just finishing up this last little bit. I might work on it more off stream before the next devlog, but I think we've made like something pretty okay for the moment as a starting point. And I don't want this to go too long. So I'm just gonna copy this little area, move that. But yeah, I don't know. But if you guys want to see me stream more often, let me know. Oh, I need another block. Maybe, can I? Okay, I can recycle this. Now the wall thickness is crazy, but I'm gonna put in roofs later so you can't see any of it, so don't worry. It's gonna be all good. So I'm liking this. This might be cool. So then you can let's play it. Let's see if we go. I haven't hit play in a while, so let's like get on this rail, and if I wall run, go to that rail, and then I can wall ride and then make that turn, and then do something on this side. So yeah. Stream more would watch. Okay, noted. Are you making this with blueprints? Yes, entirely. Is that a good idea? I'm not gonna say it's the best idea, but if you are like me and have no budget and no development team, it is a good option to consider. That's something I might do a video on too, actually, because I think a lot of people, I don't know, I might have mentioned this in a stream ages ago, but I don't know, I feel like people have a lot of questions about blueprints. I don't necessarily want to do like a whole how to use every blueprint, because I have no clue. I'm just doing what works, but I think there is a bit of a misconception where it's like, oh, it's not real programming, and like the guy who says that is like uses Unity, which isn't really real programming either. So that might be a fun video topic where it's like, you know, both are actually basically the same, it's just one of them has a different UI. Alright, so I'm not quite sure what I'm doing right here, but this looks like it might be something cool. So maybe, I don't know. I don't know if I should make it go up or down. I guess both could work. But I feel like we need to open this up to a larger area and see if I can link this shortcut on this side to it somehow. So, you know, I don't know. This needs to come to a resolution, this bit. So I might just, I might put in another grind rail near the end and have it go to a platform, and then I'll see if I can lead this shortcut to that platform somehow. And I want to try and do it quickly as well, so we'll just see how this goes. But yeah, so I'm just gonna move that. I'm just gonna rotate this. Again, I'm just trying to pay attention to where my pivots are. So if you ever see me doing something like rotating something and it seems completely arbitrary, like, trust me, there's a reason. Oh god, this is like 1 pixel off, god damn. I hate when that happens. I think it's just like, I don't know if it's the scale. I don't know what, like, can I just make that slightly bigger without breaking it? Guess not. Well, I guess we'll, yeah, that's fine. Just a little inconvenience. Will you be streaming more often? Well, I mean, I guess if people want me to, yeah, sure. I'll give it a try. I probably won't be able to stream every little thing because, like, yeah, like, I can't, like, if I'm programming, I just can't focus. Like, I can barely focus doing this. So I'm probably not going to be streaming, like, programming stuff because, you know, that's me at my worst. Like, I'm not fun to talk to when I'm programming because I'm just banging my head against the wall. But maybe if I'm doing more fun level design, or I don't know, something that's doesn't necessarily require concentration. Yeah. So maybe a Q&A stream, because I did, the last stream I did was a Q&A stream and a lot of people showed up to it. So it's been a long time since I've done it though, so I might do another one just answering, then I can just focus on answering questions and that sort of thing. So that might be, I don't know, might be an idea. Are you planning on using C++? Probably not. Just under the constraints I'm under. Like, I don't have a degree in programming. I just taught myself. And learning C++ is probably going to be like several months endeavor to do it properly. So, I mean, Blueprints is working for me so far, so I'm going to continue using them to the best of my ability. But yeah, I don't really want to like completely I've already redone a lot of my code or my blueprints already a few times to make them as efficient as I can. And I think that's really the best I'm willing to go. Otherwise, I'd spend like another 2 years on development, which isn't necessarily exciting, just for a little performance boost. Because I know there's a performance difference, but I don't think on most machines it's that problematic, especially if the game, like my game is not going to have fancy ray trace graphics or anything. It's going to be very stylized. So I don't think it's a big concern at the moment. But yeah, how did you learn C#? YouTube. Like I learnt anything else, just watching tutorials and like banging my head against the wall every weekend and trying it. I think there's a term for it. I can't remember. I think it's like, yeah. So like, I guess I am what you would call like an autodidact, which is, to my understanding, like a self-taught person that kind of just learnt it by like researching and trying things. And that's sort of how I learn most of what I've been doing up to this point. I learnt, like, from my education, probably the only valuable thing I learnt was how to manage time with my assessments. But apart from that, programming and art and everything I all learnt just from trying it and seeing what worked, seeing what didn't. Alright, so I gotta do something with this platform. Oh, whoops. Yeah, I don't want to spawn inside of an object. So this, I don't know, I think maybe I should raise this to be a bit higher, maybe. I think it should be up. And then maybe, might add a, oop, I don't want to minimize. So I'm gonna add a grind rail. Actually, do I even need, I don't know. Let me try that again, because I can't remember if we actually needed to use a grind rail or if I used a bug. So I'm gonna wall ride, grind. I guess no, I don't need a grind rail, I can wall ride that. Okay, sweet. So let's put a checkpoint there. Let's start off with that. Placeables, collectible. Oh no, sorry, core placeables. Checkpoint, there we go. So let's move you maybe a bit closer to that exit, just so that we have that nice relief of like, ah, yes, a checkpoint. I can die and be safe. Said no one ever. There we go. And this next bit, I don't know what I'm gonna do with this yet. We'll save this for another time, maybe, but we're gonna try and link this to this somehow. So we'll add a cool little shortcut area. Alright, so this is gonna be probably the last thing I do, just adding this little thing, and then we'll call it a night or a day or whatever kind of time of day it is in wherever your location happens to be. Oh yeah, so guys, make sure if you're ever doing this stuff, save your work always. So yeah, thanks for reminding me to save, Johnny. You're a true friend. Savior of the stream. God, wouldn't that have been funny if it all crashed? And wouldn't it have been even funnier if it crashed when I said that? Gosh, that would have been hilarious. But yeah, save frequently. So I'm not quite sure what could this be. Maybe I make another pit. I don't know, what is this gonna be? I don't know yet. It's exciting. I don't know, do you guys have any ideas? I'm just like thinking, to fill this gap, it's gotta like go in a bit of a curve. I don't really know. I can think of a few things to put in, but I wanna know what you guys think. Just gonna read the chat, see if you guys have any suggestions on what I could do with this little area, like making a fun little platforming challenge or something. Actually, maybe platforms. Maybe I could, let's just try placing some platforms. We'll start there and see how things go. Or, hey, wait a sec. Let me get a wall, just so we get something to go. So I guess we could make it like that. And maybe you can make these little bits that you have to jump, wall run and jump up on top of to be able to make progress. So I don't know. Oh no. Okay, I don't want to spawn where... I might get... I don't want to get rid of the turret because I want to remember that he's there, so I... Alright, maybe if I can defeat him. Oh, this is like the hostile zone. Alright, so we took him out. So we want to be able to run around with these... Maybe have like... Yeah, maybe like a massive gap area and I have to like platform my way to it. I mean, as long as it feels quicker than the longer route. Yeah, I just want to make sure it feels faster. So that's... Might work, might not. We'll see. Do I currently have any ideas of progression? Unlockable moves. I think I covered this already earlier. I'm not necessarily wanting to artificially put moves behind like an unlock screen. I think it's a lot, for me at least, I feel it would be more beneficial for players to have the moves at their disposal, but through their own experiences learn how to use them. And I don't know, that to me seems like the direction I want to try going for, so that there's a bit more depth to the mechanics in that way, where it's like the mechanics have depth in the sense that you don't necessarily immediately see how they all work together, maybe? I don't know. It sounds a bit vague, but I don't think I want to put wall ride behind an unlock screen, because that just to me seems like a bit of a cop-out. Like, oh, the core of the game, but oh, I can't wall run, I have to unlock that. Like, I don't know. It just feels a bit artificial, like, oh yeah, the game doesn't want you doing this yet, but I don't want the game to necessarily have its own enforced set of features or whatever on the player. Like, I want players to feel like they're in the world rather than, oh, the game wants me to do this now, sort of thing. I guess, if that makes sense. Will I include cinematics? I don't know, maybe. Possibly. Not sure what kind of cinematics I will yet though, but could be an idea. Alright, so I'm gonna add another one of these. I just wanna, I don't know, practice jumping across these little areas. Just see how that feels. Actually, yeah, I'm gonna get rid of that turret for the moment, just so that I can actually test the game. Okay. I don't know, jumping doesn't... Jumping needs to feel better, I think, before I do something like this. I don't know if it's just the animation that makes it feel a bit clunky, but... Like, it's responsive, but it just feels... not right. So that's something I might work on later, so I don't know. I don't know if I should have that as like a bit of a level, or not. But yeah, I don't know. I'll try something else, just to see if this sticks. Moving platforms. That would be a cool idea. Unfortunately, I have not programmed moving platforms yet, so I might do that in the next update maybe, but for the moment, I'm just gonna work with the things I've already coded and see what I can make. But yeah, I don't know, what could I... Just thinking of how to bridge this. That's like that's fun. I want it to use wall riding as well. So I don't know if... I mean, you can just like cut across, but that feels kind of dull. Like, I want something a bit more challenge. Oh, wait a sec. Oh, maybe if I add some kind of obstacle, like to the wall. That... I don't know, maybe that could work. Let's try it. How could I do that? Let me look at my reference images and see if I get any ideas. I've already used all my reference. I've got like no clue. I guess, I don't know, vertical walls. Yeah, well, let's try that. Something with walls. Let me reset the transform. But yeah, this little segment. This little segment here is probably going to be the last thing I work on for today. So yeah, I don't know. This might be what I want to include this level in the next prototype update, which will be coming soon. Can't say when exactly. I'm still waiting on a few things, but I have most of the features ready. I just need to wait on a few things and make the video. But that'll probably be coming in, I want to say in the next week, like next not this coming, like not tomorrow, but maybe the next Friday, you could expect the devlog. And I might do a bit more work on the map before then, but I don't know. Let's see if I can adjust this wall. I don't know if that's big enough. Maybe I'll make it a bit taller. Or a bit thinner. Yeah. Actually, this has given me an idea of something this could be. Like, I might be able to turn this into 2 different routes. I don't know if that's a good idea, but we'll have an idea. Let's see where this goes. So, this is giving me like, it feels like these could be like towers or something, like buildings or something of the kind. So I'm gonna just shoot. I'm just like shooting at the dartboard. I'm gonna try this. So I'm gonna like, ooh, can I bring that lower? So I'm gonna make a floor. I'm gonna make these little boxes or something. Just an idea. So I'm gonna put that there. A low ramp. Slide under the turret. Yay, that might be a good idea. Maybe if I put the turret further up here. Yeah, that might be. Yeah, we'll see. We'll see how that goes. Oh yeah, so for those that are gonna try downloading my demo at the moment, this model will not be in there for various reasons, mostly because everyone's been trying to pirate it. So sorry about that, but it's gonna be in the final game. But I won't be releasing the model alongside the free builds because they are free. I don't necessarily have to give them out, but I do want people testing the game, but I don't want people to use it as a means to steal my assets. So yeah, I've had to deal with this a lot lately. A lot of people have been like begging me to give them free assets and whatnot, and I'm getting real tired of it. It's just, yeah, it's I hate dealing with it, but unfortunately it means I can't release the models in the free builds. And you know, like I don't like the models aren't for like that use. Like they're meant to be for my game, not necessarily for anything else. Like I made them for the game, so I don't want people like ripping it for whatever and trying to resell it or like use it in another game or something, because I did spend a lot of time on it. So that's probably why you'll see the old model in there, which is like a model I made in like a few days. It was like a really quick one, but I mean mechanically it's identical. It doesn't really make any difference to the gameplay, and that's really what's important. The gameplay is what I want to test with those free builds. But yeah, the character model will be in like the final game when it like goes up for sale or something. But yeah, I'm not going to be giving away the free model, so sorry about that. But yeah, I've been getting like threatened a lot over it, so I've had to adapt and change the plan, which I don't like doing it, but you got to protect your work. But yeah, it's kind of weird. Like, a lot of people seem to think that, oh, because he's an indie, we can just have his, like, free stuff, free real estate. And it's like, no. That's not how it works, actually. In fact, if anything, indies should, like, you should really be, like, you should really not be stealing from the indies of all, because they, like, I don't have a budget. Like, I don't have any money. Like, and not to saying you should steal, but, like, if you're gonna steal from people, like, I don't know. Pick on, like, the guys who, like, don't have like close to nothing sort of thing, I guess. That's what I'm trying to say. Because yeah, I don't make really anything from this. The game is a free download. I don't make any, like, people kindly donate, and thank you so much for those who do donate to the game and donate to me through Patreon. That's like the only support I do get, and I really appreciate people who do that. It helps me do what I do. But what I don't appreciate, of course, is like people going, oh, could I just like have your model? And it's like, yeah, no, sort of thing. Like, I don't know, make your own. It's not like I've already made like 5-6 videos on making characters, right? And there's like billions more videos out there on how to do it. So, I mean, I don't know. That's just my view on it. So anyway, yeah, I don't really want to get into it too much. It makes me a bit angry. But yeah, so I don't know. I'm making these little, I don't know what these are at the moment. These little things. This turned into not quite what I wanted. I was hoping to be able to run on the, oh yeah, you can wall run on the side. So I don't know. I don't know if I should fill these with something, but I think what I might do, I might move these down to the floor and make these like scale these up like that. But yeah, so they need to be a bit lower, don't they? There we go. And then I'll do the same with these top bits. I'll just make these tall just to look kind of cool. I might need to move these a little closer together. But yeah. Do I have any UE4 tutorials that I'd recommend? I don't know. I mean, there's a lot of documentation from Epic that is really helpful, and they do a lot of their own live streams. Some of them, I mean, they're a bit hit or miss sometimes because they're all live, but they've been pretty helpful, and the documentation's very thorough. But if I had to pick anyone, I don't know, there's not a lot of people who do UE4 tutorials, but my friend Matthew, he has his own YouTube channel, Matthew Palahay. He was actually my teacher at a time. And he knows quite a bit about Unreal. He doesn't do tutorials anymore, but he did used to do a lot of very quick tutorials that are really great to get you started. And another person, there's some guy named Ryan, I think. I can't remember his full name, but his YouTube image is a picture of a controller in the shape of an R. He has some good videos as well. I used his video series for my enemies to learn the AI system. They've been really helpful. I can't remember his full name, but I know his name's Ryan something. And he does UE4 tutorials, so that should narrow it down. Because like who else, like nobody does, not a lot of people do UE4 tutorials, so I think he should be easy to find. But yeah, that's been helpful. Alright, so I'm just gonna try and make a floor. I don't know why, I've been fiddling around with these. Alright. I might, can I put like I don't want to like make this whole empty space, so I'm gonna make another wall just for this bit. Come on. There we go. So I'm gonna, oh, I need to move that lower. There we go. Would you add a boss? I don't know. I haven't really thought too much. I've only added turrets and drones so far, but I'm not sure how a boss battle would work. I feel like if I needed to add a boss, it should implement and take advantage of the game's mechanics. So I'm not sure how hard that's gonna be, but I don't know. It's sort of like, I guess I could like add it to the list. I haven't really thought too much about it, but maybe someday. Okay. Gonna make a wall now, just so that I don't want people like glitching through to get to the other areas. So I'm gonna try my best to like patch this gap that's at this weird diagonal angle. So wish me luck here. I don't know if is that even gonna work. Well, is there? I mean, there. I guess that kind of is a wall already. So this is like that could go there. It's a bit confusing, eh? Well, I guess that I just need to move the floor over. Like, oh come on! It's like just slightly. Okay, there we go. All right. I'll scale up this floor because it's harder to like know what this covers. So I'll just scale it up. Try it. So I guess this is gonna be a little cool area. I could put turrets in these little bits actually, so that you have to like go on the outside to avoid getting shot. That might be fun. And then you can make it to this bit. So I might add maybe one, I don't know if I could add one more of these. I don't know if that really, because then maybe you could still go through these if you wanted to kill the turrets. So you can like go like that. That might be fun. So you can like jump and then slide, jump, slide, jump, slide. I should probably spread them out if I'm gonna do it like that. So yeah, there we go. That might be a cool idea. Let's just, I need to spread these out so that you can like slide jump to these different things. Because the only way to kill the turrets is to slide at the moment. Alright, well let's put some turrets in and see if this actually does play out the way I think. Let's get some characters. Fusion turret. Yeah, let's put you in. Luckily these guys do not require a nav mesh to be baked to operate, so we can just chuck these guys in. And they should just, in the words of Todd Howard, they should just work. I love saying that. Alright, so they're firing, they are just working. And I could go around them this way. And then, I don't know if I can actually, oh yeah, that's actually really hard. I can't actually get in these areas without like, okay, I got one. Oh, close. Okay, I think I know what I need to do. These need to be a little bigger so that I can actually get on the wall to go around them and slide into them. So, I guess that's something I didn't expect to, yeah, I don't know. This is kind of fun, it feels a bit intense. So I might make these like 2 meters longer, if I can. So let's try it with this first one, just to see. And after I do this, I just had an alarm go off there. I'll probably like log off and go outside or like stretch or something. Okay, I missed the jump there. Oh no, I've got into the nether realm. Oh, let me try again. So I might need to do something to sort of telegraph these guys a bit, but I can slide into him. Okay, I need to make these other ones bigger. So I think, yeah, having them a bit bigger is working. Why don't I make it so that the slide goes A or D and moves the character left or right? I think I did have it like that for one update. I think I had it like that, and then I switched it back. I don't know, maybe I'll change it back to what it used to be. It might take a little bit of, I might have deleted the code for that, so I might have to redo it, but that might be something. Actually, yeah, no, you can't actually move when you slide, you're actually like stuck in place. Yeah, actually no, that would be yeah, thanks for that suggestion, actually, that would be a great feature, I think, to be able to like strafe left or right while sliding. Yeah, I'll write that down. Let me get my notepad. Be able to slide left and right while sliding. Thanks for that. Do you have any tutorials on drawing or references? Not really. I mean, I don't really draw that often. It's been a while since I've watched tutorials, but I guess just like looking up any anime tutorial, depending on the style, of course, you're going for. References though, there's a few artists I follow. I know one of them does lots of pose sheets. I can't remember her name, but she's I think she's like popular on the DeviantArt scene. So I would like check out like DeviantArt artists, like if they do any pose sheets or something. I just look up, like if I ever need to draw something, I just look up a pose and just try and use it as reference most of the time. And even sometimes, I actually started doing this recently, because I have this character model finished, I actually just use the model as a reference. Like, like if I did a new drawing of Gabriella recently, and to get her armored legs, I just like screenshotted her in that same pose in the model and like drew over it. And that was pretty handy, because it's like, I technically made it, but I give it more of a hand-drawn touch to it. So that's a nice little trick as well. All right, so I think I've scaled these all now. I think I should move them a bit. Wait a sec. This wall isn't scaled, right? I think I need to move these a bit further apart, just to have some challenge, because I want to be able to travel the outside of them as well. So I might move you over here, and I might move you. Okay, this is gonna be kind of tricky. I might move you here, maybe try and rotate you a bit. And of course I gotta move the turrets as well. Oh, these are all like out of place now. Can I get you where you need to be? Okay, that's all right. I might move him just back slightly. Same with this. That's all right. This one maybe a bit further back. All right, let's try it. So I can. Okay, there's a bit of a bug. You might have noticed. My character has tried wall running on the turret, which is not it's not a feature. That is a bug. So I need to fix that at some point. Okay, these are actually kind of challenging. Okay. Okay, yeah, I can see why being able to move while sliding would be beneficial now. Oh, it's the other turret. It spots me and starts shooting. Okay, so I need to move this a bit further away so he doesn't try shooting at me while I'm trying to take care of the first one. So I'm gonna move you over here. I don't know. I'm just gonna... This might not be a perfect idea, but I just want to see if I can make this work by the end of the stream. So let's see if we can actually go on this side. Okay, this side works. Awesome. Yeah, there's you gotta dodge these, eh? So let's see if I can... Oh, oh, that was close. Okay, oh! Wait. Did you guys see that? One of the turrets just took out the other turret. Oh my goodness. Friendly fire. This turret just got team killed. Oh man. I don't know if I can recreate that, but that was hilarious. Jesus. If I can like stand in the right zone, the turret will start firing at the other turret and shoot it. Oh, I can't get it to happen again. But hey, that's a useful feature to know. Maybe I should move these further back off to the side. Yeah, this is actually kind of hard. Maybe only one of... Oh, whoa, hold on. Alright. Maybe only one of them I put a turret. I don't know. I'll delete this one. Yeah, this is a bit easier now. Yeah, okay. Actually, no, I don't... They need to be wider, not longer. Sorry. Because I can't... Every time I try to jump off, I get onto this other one, and that's a bit of a hassle. So I'm going to just try spreading this out. And, oh, god damn. Alright. Let's give this another go, shall we? Alright, that's easier. Okay. That's the width they need to be. So let me just make that final adjustment. So I'll leave the first one without a turret, just to get you used to it, and then we'll have those turrets for the last two ones, I think. Whew. Will there be two platforms? Make there be two platforms and make them longer. Okay, not sure exactly where you mean, but yeah, I think I might have read that message a little too late because I'm starting to scale things around. What about making bars? Oh, that might be cool. Might be a bit tricky, but I mean, I don't know if it's fun. I might actually, yeah, that could work. It requires precise timing, so that's like a core pillar of the game. That might be a welcome addition, but we'll see. It might take a bit. Again, one of the reasons that I don't know if you guys would describe this as taking long in terms of the development. I honestly can't tell, because for me, I feel personally it's taking a little long because I'm learning all this stuff like brand new, like I didn't know how to do wall riding or parkour movement or anything before I started. So it tends to, I always tend to get a bit intimidated when people are like, oh, add a new feature, because it's like, oh, I have to learn how to do that. Like grinding was kind of difficult. But now that I've done it a bit, I feel a bit more confident in adding like brand new things. So I don't know, that might, if I had to break that down in my head, I guess that could work. I just need you swinging on a pole, and if you let go at the right time, it sends you flying in a certain direction. So yeah, that might, I don't know, I'll add that to the list of something to look at. Alright, okay, I took out that turret. Can I, oh, so close. I almost took out the other one. Come on, alright, can I do it this time? Oh. Alright. Okay. Yeah, the wall ride's, it's a bit sticky. I think I'll need to refine that in the future. Oh, okay, we got him. There we go. Alright. Alright. I think I'm just gonna zip up like these gaps and we'll call it a day. So this wall needs to be longer and it needs to be taller. Yeah, I'm just reading the chat, sorry. If I just stare at my screen without saying a word, it's me trying to read the chat. But alright. Yeah, because I don't know what people think about like if this is like, oh, Project Feline's taking forever or something. But yeah. Seems like at the moment you guys are very, very patient, and I appreciate that so much. Because this is kind of tricky doing all this. I need to close this gap too, so I'm gonna move this wall over this way. There we go. I don't know, this whole area here is just blank. I don't know if there's anything I can do with it. Maybe if I like add a wall of some kind to block that off. But yeah, it's a weird thing. On the thought of adding like swinging poles, I don't know, it's made me rethink a lot of mechanics. Like when people suggest like things like that, for example, it makes me rethink a lot of games that I've played, because technically, like in Mirror's Edge or any game with like most of these games have more of one way to traverse the level, right? But as a programmer, if you want to like develop a game, you tend to just focus on like the main way, and sometimes I forget that these features were like made and that they actually enhance the experience. Because to me, it's like, oh, well, you're still traveling from point A to point B, right? You know, it feels like at some point it can sometimes feel gimmicky. But then when I was working on the grind mechanic, because at the beginning I thought, oh, this is like, you can already move, like, you know, you can already get over gaps. Why would I need a grind mechanic? But then I added it, and because it had the same set of, I guess, core values that I was applying to the wall ride, it kind of felt like it expanded. And it's interesting, because as a player, I never gave it a second thought. It's like, oh yes, this game has this traversal and this traversal. And I didn't really give it much of a second thought, like why people would add swinging poles or anything. But, because it just seems like, oh, it's like something to slow you down, but it actually does feel pretty fun. And it's just those little things that I tend to forget sometimes. And it's just interesting, I guess. I don't know. I'm just spouting some thoughts coming out the top of my head at the moment. Alright, well this is... I'm just like playing around with this a little bit here. I think I've closed up as many gaps as I can at the moment. I don't know if there's anything more. I feel like this needs something. Because I don't want you to just ride on this wall, because that's just going to be too easy. So I might add some like gaps along here, just so that it's like, oh, you can't just like run on one wall like the whole time. So maybe I'll add some like dangerous lava walls or something. Or I might move this back, because riding along walls like this is like not fun. So just to disincentivize this, because I want people riding on these ones, so I'm gonna make this one a bit trickier. You could probably still get across it, but it's not gonna feel as rewarding as the other path. Oh yeah, thanks for reminding me to save. Very good. Thanks, Johnny. Awesome. Alright, thank you so much. God, could you guys imagine if this crashed? Oh my god. That'd be... That hasn't happened to me yet, thank goodness, but imagine... I'd kill myself if it did. Alright. So I'm just added like an indent, because I just want to make this wall kind of trickier, and people are gonna like go, oh, could I get that? And then they find it a bit tricky, but maybe some skilled players could make it, but most players are gonna want to use this other... Yeah, like this path, or they go through the turrets. And this is like a lot quicker than the back way. I feel like, I don't know, I feel like I could put something... Feels like I could put something here. I don't know what. But I feel like something. I don't know if that wall should be at a different angle or not, but that's fine. Or maybe this doesn't need to be indented as much. I might move it a little bit further back, because it kind of draws focus to that wall, which kind of isn't what I want. So let's move you back. We can probably make that smaller. Yeah. All right. Let me pop in here again. All right. Okay. Yeah, because that wall was sticking out, and anything that sticks out that has a light on it kind of looks like, oh, go here, and you don't want it to, because it's like a dead end. So I moved that wall back a bit, but it makes it so that you can't just ride on one wall. Oh wait, okay, you sort of can, but you get blocked here. That's the idea. What you want to do is like go on these bits. I think this feels more fun. All right. Any final touches that I want to add before I leave this chair? You know, maybe I'll add a... I'll close off this little area, because this feels like you could just fall into the abyss. So let's put some walls. Do I have any other sketches? Like, I'm assuming you mean character sketches. I have a lot of sketches, of a lot of things. So I'm not sure exactly what kind of sketches you want in particular, but yeah, well, let me answer that again. So yeah, when I was before I knew how to use Photoshop, I would do a lot of sketches on paper, and I have them. I don't know where I've kept them, but I've got them somewhere in a massive stack, and it's just like these old cringy drawings. Like they're so bad, they're horrible, but I keep them because it's like I can look at it and go, oh my god, I used to suck. And I can just sort of feel a bit happier about life, I guess. But yeah, I used to do a lot of sketching on paper, especially in high school. I actually worked out a thing, because for those who don't know, I was a high school dropout. And for my last year of school, I was not subtle at all about telling everyone that I was leaving. So I try to make deals with my teachers saying, okay, I'm not going to be here for like year 12, so I'm just going to go sit at the back of the class and do my thing. You don't have to worry about me. I'm not going to disrupt anyone. And it worked on some teachers, didn't work on others, but I ended up using that time pretty effectively, if I have to say. I spent a lot of time on my sketchbook, and I spent a lot of time with my earbuds in trying to fiddle around with Logic Pro, which is a music tool, and I made an album during that year, which was pretty fun. It's just a little side project, but yeah, I don't know why I got it onto a tangent about that, but I guess moral of the story is that if you want to sketch, like, do it, you know. If it's something you want to do, sketch wherever you can, even if it means in class. I mean, people are going to be, because of this whole quarantine thingy that's going on, I'm sure everyone's going to probably be at home anyway, so okay, so he means main character sketches. Yeah, I don't know where I've kept the physical sketches, but I know I've got them somewhere. But I do have a lot of digital sketches on my computer that I've published. If you go to my description of this video, on the, I think it's the ArtStation link or the one of those two, there's links to some of my digital drawings that I've done. I think I recently posted, like a few months ago, I posted the very first sketch of Gabriella, I think. And I posted that to my social media, and it was like, it's a very humbling drawing. I kind of looked at it and went, oh wow, this is like, I can't believe I'm turning this character into this game, sort of thing. It's kind of funny. So you could probably find that on my DeviantArt or ArtStation page in the description, or on my social medias, also linked down below. Alright, so I've walled off this bit. I'm gonna add in ceilings later, because it's gonna take me a while to put in the roofs, but I don't know, is there any... I might just add a goal ring, maybe, just so that we've got a way to finish this. And well, yeah, let me go back to the beginning. So that's where you start from. And then you go through here, you go through there, you go through there, and then you... Alright, so this route has no... I mean, I feel like I should put a checkpoint in one of these routes. So maybe I'll make this for death, so I'll put a checkpoint here. Core placeables, checkpoint. And then, yeah, like before the next video, I don't know, maybe I'll do another stream next week if the video isn't ready yet. I might do some more work on this. Yeah, it's a bit of a weird thing, because sometimes I'll like really want to put a devlog out urgently, but sometimes I think they need a bit of extra time in the oven. So I was wanting to do it by Friday, but I think I might need a bit more time to get everything up to scratch. So maybe before the next devlog, maybe we'll have time for another live stream of this if you guys are interested. This checkpoint, okay. I was gonna add something else. Oh yeah, gold ring, there we go. Well, it's not really a ring, but everyone calls it a gold ring in like gaming. So that's the goal object. I just place that in and it should finish the level. Now, I'm gonna show you something here that I very briefly went over in devlog 20, which was like the one before my last one. And that is that I changed a lot of the back-end code for how my game spawns and whatnot. So in my level here, this might be a cool thing for those who are new to Unreal, is that you can actually override levels to use different game modes. And at the moment, I'm using the default game mode that I've made called Free Roam, which is just, you just chuck the player in and it's just like, there's no UI or anything. But I have another game mode called Arcade, which has the timer, the stopwatch, the countdown, and everything. So it's useful because there's some levels I've made where I don't want there to be a countdown or anything, and some I do. So for this level, I do want there to be a countdown and a stopwatch. So if I go to my game mode world override, which is in my blueprints tab, if I go to game mode not overridden, I can select one from ones I've made. I'm going to use arcade. I think I called it arcade for some reason. And there we go. But for some reason, it's not working, which is kind of awkward. That's weird. Okay, well, it's got the UI and speedometer there, but it's not showing me my time or score, which is... I've never had that happen. That's interesting. Maybe, let me change it to another one. I don't know, I had this other one called Campaign, but I think it was like a test to see if I could put a stopwatch in on its own. But that doesn't work either. Huh. That's weird. Maybe you have to bake the lighting or something, I don't know. It might be a weird glitch. Let me save the scene first. So let's hit save. I don't know what it's missing, why it's not working. That's really strange. Oh. Actually, let me go to another level and see where it does. Actually, yeah, I should build the lighting. I'm gonna do that. Alright, well that's not working for some reason. It could be because of the enemies. I'm not entirely sure, because I actually haven't tested the game modes with enemies in them yet. Yeah, I can see people in the chat are going back, checking my old drawings now. Thanks. Yeah, well I'm glad that you guys think I've improved. It really means a lot. Yeah, so for those that are wondering where everyone's going to look for my drawings, the first ever sketch I did of Gabriella was from 2009, which as of the time of this devlog is over 10 years ago, and that's, yeah, kind of a shocker, but I don't know, it's just kind of a character I really liked, and I just kept developing the design, and it led into this. So I don't know why I did that, but I just felt right. Alright, well the goal ring works. I have an S rank, but that's because it's not deducting any points for my time, so that's bad. This does look a lot better now that it's been built with the lighting. So I'm gonna hop into another map just to see if it's broken on every map or not, because I might have touched something before the stream started and it might have wrecked everything. I hope not. But if I go to my very first level, let me just reset my layout. I always like to reset my layout before I save. Alright, so this is my first level. Okay, so it works here. There's a countdown. And the stopwatch works. Okay, why is this not working on my new map? That is... Okay, I don't know if I'm gonna try bother fixing this now, but this is really, really frustrating. Oh, God damn, I wanted to speedrun through this. Actually, yeah, I was gonna test. If I drag an enemy into this map, is it gonna break? Oh my God, if that's the case, that's definitely gonna be another week before the devlog, if that is the case, where this breaks. So let me get an enemy. Let me add a turret. Alright, well it skipped the countdown. I don't know if that's because it killed me instantly or not, so let me move the turret. Alright, that is... Wow, okay, that's weird. So when I add a turret, it skips the countdown, but it keeps the stopwatch. So that means when I add a drone... Oh, wow, okay, so it completely breaks. Well, alright, that's an issue I'm gonna have to fix, but we're gonna have to do that next time. I guess, yeah, I'll work on that in the meantime, but before I hop off, let's just play through it and pretend like the stopwatch works. Alright, well that's interesting. Let me full screen this. So, oh yeah, thanks Vegan Badass for the $5 super chat. Alright, well hey, like if you have any inquiries and you want me to try out products, you can go to my website linked in the description, and there'll be a contact form. Like I do this because it's a lot easier for me to manage contact forms all in one place. So yeah, because I don't want to have to go through the live stream later and bring up this one message. So yeah, Vegan Badass, if you wanna propose that, send me a message through my website in the inquiries page. Alright, anyway, so let's play through this level. So we got the start. We have 2 routes. I don't know if I should be doing something visually to make one of them more appealing, but let's go through this one first. So if we go down here, we're gonna get chased by these dudes, and we can slide into them to defeat them. And we can wall right up here, get the checkpoint. Grind down these stairs. Grind down these stairs. Come on. Yep. Get that gap. Warren over here. Get that checkpoint. Jump. Grind on this rail. I'm gonna have to fix the lighting, by the way. But yeah, then we go on here, and then we reach this checkpoint, and then we finish. And oh, check that out, guys. That's an... Whoa, hold on a sec. What's this? S rank, but I'm gaining time. Oh. Well, well. Game development sure is fun, my dudes. Alright, well, let's try that again, but let's do the shortcut route. So this is route B. If I go over here... Now, I don't know if these guys can see me. I don't know if I can, like, sneak. Okay, so these guys can't see me. They can't kill me. So let's get this checkpoint. So this turret's going to shoot at me. I can... You know, actually, I might turn on post-processing. Just so that you guys can... So it's got the auto-expose feature, so you guys can see the level a bit. Or I might just turn up the brightness. I have a brightness setting I keep forgetting that I have. So let's go through again. So this... Oh, it's a bit bright. But at least we can see the dark areas. So we can go through this bit. We have a checkpoint. Then we have a turret. And we can slide into them. And we have to really watch... Oh... Now I'm going to make this like a death pit, so we can go back to our checkpoint. Oh, come on. Alright, so we go back to the checkpoint if we die. And then we can, Then we can slide into this dude, if I can make it. And I seem to always miss it for some reason. Alright, let's try that again. These are actually kind of hard. Alright, there we go. Boom, flawless. S rank. Alright, well now the ranking system works. Okay, sure, fine. Okay, whatever. Work whenever the hell you want. Alright, I'm just going to read through some final chat messages just to see what you guys think of this new map. Judging from the fact that having enemies completely breaks the score and rank system, I'm probably going to spend next week doing some more development before I put out a devlog, so it'll be another week. In that time, I might do another stream if you guys are interested, and we will finish up this level and do some more to it. But in the meantime, if there's any feedback or comments you have about the map, let me know in the chat before I head offline, just so that I know if I'm going in the right direction here. I'm reading something here about a timer. So you have the timer trigger when the level finishes. Not quite sure what you mean by that. Foxcat Gaming 2. Oh, you mean like a respawn delay? I think that's what... Is that what you mean? I'm not sure. But if it is... Okay. I do have a variable for that. However, it kind of... Sometimes it breaks. It does a weird thing where if I have a... I had a respawn timer, but then the respawn timer activates an animation, and because this character doesn't have a death animation, it waits for the animation to finish, which it never does, and it just infinitely keeps falling to their death. So I'm gonna have to fix that. But I felt that actually I'll switch it to the old model so you guys can see what it looks like when I die. Because I don't have a death animation yet. But I'll in the final game I'll probably do something like this. Oh jeez, I'm gonna turn my brightness down. It adds it to the whole interface for some reason when I change this setting. 2.2, that's the default. Alright. Now, here's another cool thing. Here's Gabriella's character, and changing the model in Unreal is so easy. All I have to do is click on the mesh, change the animation blueprint, and change the mesh. And there we have our good old friend, the old Gabriella, with this really cheeky grin. Yeah, so... Now, because this asset has some more animations on it, I can go to my health component that I've coded. I can select a death animation from this one, and the reason why I've got more animations for this character is because I rigged it on Mixamo, and if you guys want to check that out, it's a free rigging tool. It's all mocapped, so I didn't have to put much time in, just for testing purposes, of course. So I'm going to do death forward. I think that's the animation I want. And let's try... I should play a death animation on this model. So if I get tased, yeah, there we go. It plays a death animation. It should do the same thing with that turret. So I'm going to go over and show you guys that. So if I get hit, yeah, it plays a death animation. But yeah, because I don't have one for the new model, I just haven't bothered putting it in yet. But it is a feature. It does exist. So the version you guys will play will probably... It'll have this model and it'll have this death animation. So that's how it'll look. So it's a bit, it's not like completely instant sort of thing, if that's what you're wondering. maybe had a little hidden area with orbs. Yeah, that might be fun. Maybe a sort of lock to enemies when you slide attack. Yeah, I'm not sure about the slide, but I did have an old attack. I'm gonna turn that on just so you guys can like see what it looks like in my melee component. So I had these old moves that you could use as like a flying kick attack, and I had this other move where you could do an air kick. And the air kick I really liked, but the ground kick I just didn't really dig it after a while. And I'll show you how that works with these enemies. So if you attack too slow, they'll kill you, but if you time it right, you can kick these guys. But I just found sliding a bit more fun. But I want to do something with this air kick. Maybe it won't be an air kick, but it'll be some kind of air boost or something like that. So I'm going to experiment in the future, but for the moment, I've kept it out of the new model just because I don't have a kick animation for it. But that's sort of like the full move set there. But if I go and turn this off, it'll stop me from being able to kick. But it only lets me slide. So yeah, anyway, I'm just gonna read some last minute thoughts and comments here. Oh yeah, actually I think I do have a death backwards animation now that you mention. Death flying back. So I don't know, let's try this one. I wanna full screen it. So let's see how this one looks. I just changed the death animation. Oh, wow, yeah. You kind of fly off screen, but it's kind of fun. I don't know, maybe I don't know. it's a bit more funny. That's a lot funny than I thought it would be. Wow, sorry. It just looks so funny how she just gets whacked in the head and flies backwards. Like, ooh. I gotta add the Minecraft oof sound to that. Okay, so why doesn't this model have a tail? Great question. That's because I think when I made this model, I didn't decide to add the tail. Bit of a long story. So the original design from 2009 had a tail, and then when I started Project Feline in 2018, I took away the tail, but then when I was making the new model, I added the tail back. So this one was made before the new model, when I was like, this was like made within the first month of this model. So it was very, very, very bare bones, like yeah, it doesn't really have a tail or anything. It was also because I rigged it with the Mixamo skeleton, which doesn't have tails, so I thought it'd be a bit easier. But yeah, this one was like really rushed, which is why this one is currently the one for the free prototype. Anyway, yeah, so unless there's any last minute questions, I'm probably gonna... oh, sorry, it's just that death animation. Anyway, yeah, so I'm probably gonna head off. But yeah, if you guys have any more questions, let me know. And stay tuned. If you want to see another stream, just judging from how this one went, I'm probably going to do another one like next week. Or sooner, maybe. Because I'm going to need to spend some time doing some more fixing before the devlog's ready. So yeah, so if you want to follow that, make sure to subscribe if you haven't already. And just so you get notified, and join the Discord. I notify you there too, and join everything. Follow me on Twitter, all that. But yeah, thanks everyone for coming in and joining the stream. I might go back and read bits of the chat later just for some last minute feedback. But yeah, I think that'll probably do it for today. So thank you everyone for joining. I know this went on for a bit. I think it's been like 2 hours or something. But yeah, thank you for everyone who took time out of the day to come and watch me stream and do some level design. Surprisingly, I made a lot more progress than I thought I would. We have like a whole little circuit going on here. So we made all of this in like the past 2 hours or so from scratch. So yeah, hopefully you guys will get to play this soon in the next prototype update, and with all the bugs out of the way and fixed. But yeah, thanks. I haven't ended a stream in ages. I forgot how to end streams. But yeah, thanks everyone for watching. Thanks for joining in. Join the Discord, follow me on Twitter, subscribe. Be on the lookout for more live streams and more devlogs and content from me. And until next time, I'll see you guys later on. Now, excuse me while I try to find the off button for this thing, because the YouTube Studio interface has all changed. Where's the button? God damn. But yeah, bye bye. Bye everyone. Have a good one. Have a good night or a good evening or a good day. I found the button now, so I'm gonna head off. Bye guys.